Is my stream work? Oh, I'm streaming at low bit rate again. Whoops. Here, let me see if my internet wants to work today. I forgot to update my settings because my stream didn't work last time. And hey, look. Well, while I'm starting here, because I'm definitely prepared, I'm AR-59 with 339,500 out of 340,125 XP on Polearms Only. Polearms Only has taken a bit longer to get to AR-60 than my main account did. We are like, I started this account I think in April 2 years ago. So it's taken about 2 years to get to AR-60. Hello chat. I wouldn't really say already, but I might be the first. I'm not sure. Someone would have to check. I would have, point being with like the AR-59, the XP amount, I would have gotten to AR-60 longer ago if I had done like, say, you know, more quests on Polearms Only. This isn't even that many quests, but that's because I haven't accepted that many. Like, so, you know, point is, I think on my main account, I got to AR-60 about an hour and a half after starting the account, and this account has taken slightly under 2 years, so a little bit longer, which is not that surprising. I am not sure if it's the first only series, you know, of like Swords Only, Polearms Only, Claymores Only. I think Nobley's Claymores Only is probably the most likely other one to have gotten to AR-60. He might have. So, I don't know, right? Zhongli Impact hits AR-60, true. Yeah. Well, we're never going to escape the Pyro Polearms. Can't believe we're going to go 5th Pyro Polearm. I forgot to put Arlecchino in the thumbnail, whatever. Okay, I'm probably going to have a whole another stream later this weekend talking about Arlecchino, probably. I am much more positive about Arlecchino than I think most people are, and not just for Polearms Only, to be clear. So, anyways, yeah, I've chosen to have it be sunset here for a reason. And that's because Polearms Only is not ending. I got you. No, we're not ending Polearms Only. The reason being is because I like Polearms Only still. This is just the last, you know, milestone is kind of all it is. And, yeah, so that's all I got to it. Oh, and I meant to go get to AR-60 like right there as the sun was setting, but I ruined the moment because I forgot to claim these beforehand. I purposely had left these available so that I could get to AR-60 as soon as I pressed. No, frick. Wait, no, it's gonna work. Yeah, that'll work. Blam. AR-60. And of course, Chevreuse is interrupting me. Shut up. Yay. That was meant to be like more of a moment than that. Chevreuse, did you really? That's really annoying because I whatever. I intend to use that footage in a video probably for like a week or two from now, maybe longer. I'm gonna have some kind of video that's like a more formal reflection of like playing this account over the last 2 years, right? And I'm gonna have that clip in there being like, yeah, I just got the AR-60 recently, so it's time to make a blah 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 blah. And of course, Chevreuse had to be talking in her friggin' idle line the exact moment I did AR-60, but whatever. At least I timed it okay as the sun was setting. It felt appropriate. Is metaphorical or things, but the metaphor is the metaphor for nothing because the series is not ending. It's just the last major milestone. So yeah, I don't know. We're AR-60 and Polearms Only. That's kind of all there is to it. There's still stuff to look forward to. There's a new Polearm character coming out soon. You might have heard of her. You might have not. And we got shenanigans to do. There's a new Abyss cycle, by the way. That's the main other thing I'm streaming for today. Other than, you know, the Adventure Rank Awards. Whoops. There is a new Abyss cycle, which looks a bit harder. I am not as like the previous Abyss cycle. I was very confident going in. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be easy to first try, and yeah, it was easy. This one I'm not as confident about, but we'll see. This account is having had this account for 2 years, right? The nature of, you know, let's talk about AR-60 a little bit here, because I find it kind of weird that obviously, like many people, I find it a little bit weird how utterly trash the rewards for AR-60 are. Right? I didn't record it. What? I swear to God to you, I hit start recording when I hit start streaming. Oh my God. Well, Great. I didn't even record the freaking AR-60 clip, guys. Oh my god. Kill me. Okay, whatever. That just means I'm gonna have to like watch my own YouTube VOD, and it's gonna have compression, and I'm gonna whatever. That's the second time in the last week that I have made a major I didn't click recording error. The other one you'll see in an upcoming video in the next few weeks, soon, eventually, GM. So anyways, AR-60 rewards, like, it takes such an ungodly long time, right? Like, an ungodly amount of XP. Like, let me see if do I still have it open? There was this nice little graph on the Genshin fandom website for the XP that it takes to get to AR-60. Yeah, there it is. I still have it open. Let me see if I can open this up real quick on stream, just to show you for reference. Browser window. Let's see if this works. Blam. Okay, it doesn't look... I mean, it's not zoomed in, but you get the point. So, if I go to the window, hopefully there's no private information showing. Yeah, if I go here, so, you can see, right, this is AR-55, I think, and then 56, 57, 58, 59, and then 60, where we just got. This is the amount of XP it takes. Like, here's how quickly you get to AR-55, and then here's your AR-60. So, the point being with that, yeah, the rewards for AR-60 are a bit goofy because any account that gets to AR-60 is a really invested account, most likely. Like, it's you've logged into this game and done a lot of things, right? So, like, why is the reward so crap? like, good lord, this is the reward for playing the game for 2 years-ish. 2 years-ish. We get 1 wish for Arlecchino and 3 piles of garbage. And then some fragile resin. So, yep, Polearms Only will no longer be broken more. No, we're never broken more on Polearms Only, not anymore. Hasn't been the case for a long time. Like, I can't, like, I can crown things right now, and I would go under 10 million, sorry, for, like, this patch, and then I'd go over 10 million right away. Like, they don't release enough characters, they don't release enough polearm characters for me to possibly run out of more. So, the more benefit is one of the more significant benefits, I'd say, for most accounts. Like, it can result in you getting a meaningful amount of extra more over time. But realistically, for this account, it does literally nothing. So, functionally, all we get for this account is, you know, the 1 extra wish for Arlecchino, and then the 3 standard wishes, which we'll do in a second. So, I don't know. Is a little bit weird, is kind of my point. That the rewards are so crap when accounts are so invested that, God forbid, they did something like, hey, you can choose a free standard 5-star weapon or character of your choice for getting to AR-60. Like, I feel like that would be a long-term motivator for a lot of people to continue playing the game if they did something like that. And they don't. Like, that's so meaningless, right? At an AR-60 level of investment, a free standard character is so meaningless. It does, like, nothing. It does not change an account. It does not meaningfully progress an account. It's just like a minor, it would be a nice reward, right? Like in Polearms Only, I could choose to get, I haven't gotten a Skyward Spine, for example. I would probably choose to get a Skyward Spine. Would that be that useful? No, not really, but it would be cool. It wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind having it. And because it's Polearms Only, it's nice to have more weapon options, right? It's just, so I don't know. I don't get it. I do not get why the reward's so poop, but hey, maybe I'm poo-pooing for no reason, and we're gonna find out, because we have 3 wishes to spend from our AR-60 rewards, and we're not even gonna get a 4-star most likely. We are not at pity. I think we're at like 60 pity, possibly good and early, and there's one piece of garbage for our AR-60 reward. Wow. And here's 2 pieces of garbage for our I can't speak. AR60 reward. Wow. And here's a 3rd piece of garbage for our AR60 reward. Wow. And not even a single polearm not even a 3-star polearm to top off the AR60 rewards. Oh well. But surely the 150 Primo Gems is 1 Arlecchino, right? Right? No, yeah. Anywho's, do I have every polearm character? Yes. Yes, we do. That's not the right screen. Polearm, blam. Look at that. And we will get Arlecchino without a problem when she releases. And, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have a video, like, just rambling about and recounting the progress of Polearms Only, probably up until this point. And probably in a week or 2. It's either gonna be next week's or the weeks after, and it's gonna be one of one of my videos I make for the weekend. Just gotta plan it out a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. 2 years is more than well enough time to it's an example of, like, right, I think this account is a good example of how you can do very non-optimal things in Genshin, like choosing to play only polearm characters, and over time you're gonna be able to succeed at the content they have. Like, there is one boss in the game that might stop me from 36-starring Abyss again, but I'm pretty confident at this point I could deal with it. It's the only boss that's once we started 36-starring Polearms Only. Where the frick is it? Oh, it's over here in the it's in the map area. I haven't unlocked. It's the Inquisitive Baptist. The only boss that stopped me from 36-starring on Polearms Only was that boss, and that's because, like, Polearms Only's main issue that it has is, like, lack of very consistent off-field single target application in every single type that you would need to get through 3 elemental shields in short order. But I now think we're at the point where I don't think that'll be a problem. And I think he is coming back to the Abyss, so we'll get our revenge. But if we go back to I don't even know if we can see the full history of when I first 36-starred now. But I first 36-starred when Yao Yao released. And when Yao Yao released, then I was able to 36-star every single Abyss cycle except for one that I skipped. It was probably this was probably the one with the Inquisitive Baptist, actually. That's why there's 3 not in a row. For a while I wasn't bothering streaking. I have tried to keep up a streak now, but for a while I wasn't bothering streaking because it just took a long time to clear Abyss in a lot of cycles. And it just wasn't worth the time and energy once I cleared because when there's a new, by new cycle, I mean, like, a new set of enemies, right? Not a new blessing. When you can get the rewards again, I mean new enemies. And I was able to 36-star every single new enemy cycle, except for when they introduced the Inquisitive Baptist to Abyss last year. That was the only one that stopped me, but I'm pretty sure I can handle it now. I'm quite confident of that, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes back. My point is, like, only the, like, hardest of ridiculous elemental checks have been able to stop Polearms Only once I reached, like, a good level investment, which was, you know, around 8 months after starting the account. What? Oh, that's the event. And yeah, and that's kind of all there is to it. Like, I've been successful on this account. You can probably be successful on any account. and yeah, this account has given me a lot of the reason why, you know, I don't think Bennett is necessary for all attack scalers. Like, oh my god. Okay, I'm not going to talk about Arlecchino's whole stream. But, like, oh my god, the amount of discussion around Arlecchino being like, yeah, she needs Bennett. No. That's not how this game works. So, anyways, I can assure you, okay. There's certain things that could change that could make Arlecchino just a worse Hu Tao. I think Arlecchino is going to be a more useful character to me on Polearms Only than Hu Tao is. This is a pretty bullish statement. And I think Arlecchino is a better character for most players than Hu Tao is. Better does not necessarily mean, oh, she's a better vape carry, to be clear, because there's more context in which you should evaluate how a character is useful than just their damage performance in single target. And like C0 for C0, I think Arlecchino is a far more interesting character than Hu Tao. Just saying. But I really like Hu Tao, and to be clear, I'm very bullish on Arlecchino right now. I was very pessimistic, both for Polearms Only and for my main account, going into Arlecchino's beta. This is the last thing I'll say about Arlecchino. Going into like the beta for Arlecchino, before we saw her kit, since it was very much seeming like she was going to be an on-fielder, I was pretty pessimistic about her. But now I'm pretty bullish on her, and I'm much more positive on her than I think a lot of people are. And yeah, so anyways, I don't think she's going to be game-changing or anything, to be completely clear. She's a pyro carry. She's not that wildly different than, of course, she's not wildly different than much else that we can do right now in the game. It's just a matter of, I think she's a pretty good character, and I think she has a couple of specific nuances that make her far more versatile of a character, and that's going to make her meaningfully useful in ways that Hu Tao isn't useful for, and that also extrapolates out to a normal account, right? But anywho's, you gonna pull for Arlecchino's cons on this account, and so I haven't decided yet. I think what I'm gonna my current gimmick for the video is I'm probably gonna ask Paimon's Bargains to potentially do one of two things: either sponsor a top up for Polearms Only, in the context of bad luck happening, but in the context of good luck happening, wherein we get Arlecchino and her weapon. Like I have enough wishes. If we go out and look at how many wishes I'll have by the time Arlecchino's banner rolls around. To be clear, I don't normally top up on this account, but I might for Arlecchino just for the funsies. Like, what does it matter at this point, right? But I have enough wishes. Purchase the Prima Gems. We have 144 wishes there. We don't need to save our Star Glitter for anything, so this is functionally just an extra 50 wishes. So that's about 200 wishes, right? We have right now. We have 200 wishes right now. We'll probably get about 50 more by the time Arlecchino's banner comes by, is my guess. And so 250 wishes. And then we have, let's see, I think we have like 40 pity. Because I was trying to get C6 Yaoyao. I don't regret C6 Yaoyao, I'll be very clear. I do not think C6 Yaoyao was a mistake. No, sorry, 27 pity. So functionally, we have like 275 wishes. 275 pities worth of wishes. That is not enough to even guarantee C0 and her weapon. So, like, that's a lot of wishes. Not enough to guarantee C0 and weapon. What I would like for Polearms Only, this is barring like constellation changes, kit changes, whatever. I would like to get C1R1 of Arlecchino, because like, how can I not get the weapon? How can I not get the weapon? And on top of that, last time I wished the weapon banner for Polearms Only was trying to get Staff of Scarlet Sands, and we lost the 50-50, or sorry, we lost the 25-75 to Almost Bow, which means we have a guarantee for one of the two featured weapons on the banner, right? So if I, for example, because I lost the 50-50, or 25-75, sorry, to Almost Bow, now there is a guarantee if I wish on this banner that I would get, which obviously I won't, that I would get the Claymore or whatever this weapon is called, Uraku Musugiri. And that, like, it's not a guarantee that I get a specific one, it's a guarantee that I get one of the two. So instead of the normal, it's a 37.5, which is the 75 divided by 2, 37.5% chance when I get a 5-star to get this. The next 5-star I get on this banner is a 50-50 between this. So that means it's a 50-50 chance for Arlecchino's weapon with 1 pity's worth, or 1 5-star, which is not that much better than, because if I lose the 50-50 and get, I don't know, let's say Baiju. The same Baiju is ran with Arlecchino, and I get the donut instead, well, then it resets back to the 37.5% chance for the next one. So, it could still take 200 wishes to get Arlecchino's weapon. And it could still take 150 wishes to get C0 Arlecchino. I used up all my luck on the Shao banner, because, these are really useful. Like, imagine this could have been C1 Arlecchino. It's fine. Genuinely, it's fine. Like, C6 Yaoyao, I from my testing so far has made I noticed the difference. C6 Yaoyao might be one of the constellations that contributes to me being able to get through the Inquisitive Baptist next time around. I do not regret getting it. But my plans for Arlecchino are, I'm hoping for C1 R1, because we certainly have enough wishes that we just have to get, like, not horribly unlucky. Like, we have enough wishes that we should expect an early. So if we, like, win a 50-50 for Arlecchino, we'll go for a weapon. If we win the 50-50 for a weapon, then there's a very good chance we get C1 R1, right? That's, of course, hinging on 250 with 50 wins, potentially. But my point is I'm going to basically proffer up, all right, Paimon's Bargains, if I get unlucky, you guys sponsor a top-up on my account. And if I get lucky, you guys sponsor a top-up for you, which is to say I would give away a Welkin. And my also to spice it up, because of the fact that I think it'd be more interesting. So if I get unlucky, right, one top-up will be purchased for this account, right? The one with the bonus, which this would be an extra 80 wishes. It's not even necessarily enough to guarantee you see C1 R1 or anything, right? But if I get lucky and don't have to do any top-ups on this account, not only will Paimon's Bargains give a top-up away, but I'll give a top-up away as well. So I will match Paimon's Bargains top-up, which is to say, Mihoyo, if you let this account be lucky, aka if this account has to spend $0 for Arlecchino, like C1 R1 would be my hope. If this account has to spend $0 to get C1 R1 Arlecchino, Mihoyo, you will get more money, because I will have to spend $100 giving a top-up to a viewer, and then Paimon's Bargains will be spending $100 to give a top-up to a viewer. So Mihoyo, if they make it so Polearms Only doesn't have to spend money, indirectly gets more money. I'm just giving you the heads up, Mihoyo. You know. There you go. What's Arlecchino C1 do? It's weird. It's not that necessary, to be clear. Like, the priority will be, well, okay. Her C1 is interesting. I'm not going to talk... I'll talk about her C1 more in probably this weekend's live stream. Is weird. Basically, it lets her stay on field longer, but it also lets her heal more, potentially, which is simultaneously not necessarily that important and potentially important. It's kind of contextual. So, it is a weird constellation. Also, it's rumored today that I would give her interruption resistance, which is going to be a hot take. I don't care. I do not care about the interruption resistance. So, anyways, let's go do something. Let's go. This is going to seem weird, but I'm going to go farm this. Her C1 is probably going to change. That doesn't. You do realize, like, well, I don't know. I hope they don't change her C1. I hope that if they change her C1 to interruption resistance and get rid of what it currently is, I give no f***s about her C1. If they just add interruption resistance on top of it, it's fine. It's whatever. It literally means nothing to me. I care about the existing part of her C1, not the interruption resistance potential. But if they get rid of her existing C1 in favor of just changing it to interruption resistance, super lame. Super lame. So, yes, and it's not a confirmed leak. This is not something that we've seen actually reflected in the beta or anything, so don't even take that for anything confident. It's yeah. So, anyways, interruption resistance is a balancing mechanic. It does not. She does not need interruption resistance. Yeah. So, anyways, oh, let's just do this. Like, look, I'm playing Hu Tao. This is the domain, to be clear. But look, I'm playing Hu Tao without interruption resistance. My god. Screw you. My god. It's horrible. It's a miserable experience. Guys, I'm suffering. This game sucks so much when I don't have interruption resistance. Look at that. I didn't get interrupted on Zhongli there when I used her burst, even though she doesn't have interruption resistance. look, I know I'm being a bit of a rude butthole, but that's how strongly I think interruption resistance doesn't matter. My hot take... Can you stop? My hot take is that has more value as a strongbox piece to me than it does to whatever. My hot take is that people that are to be clear, this is Mihoyo's own freaking fault that the player base feels this way. My hot take is that players want interruption resistance so badly because of Mihoyo's shite game design. One is that, you know, they've made the Abyss a time challenge. So that has overly focused the community into... that has overly... I'm not farming this for Shao, by the way. I'm farming this domain for Arlecchino. I don't really think I'm going to realistically get a good 4-piece set of Echoes. By the way, don't farm Echoes for Arlecchino. It's actually a terrible idea. Echoes is not that good of a set for her necessarily compared to just like Gladiator, in my opinion. And Echoes is also like ping dependent. If you have like over 100 milliseconds of ping, LOL, the 4-piece bonus doesn't work probably, or inconsistently. The main reason I actually want to farm Echoes is because I have this that I got forever ago from the Abyss when it was like an Abyss drop. I have this 40 CV Pyro Goblet on set. So until I farm Arlecchino's artifacts, I could get a really good 2-piece bonus going using this as an on-set goblet for Arlecchino. Or if I get good enough pieces in the time before Arlecchino's banner, maybe I can try out the 4-piece set too. I don't actually have 4-piece Gladiator going on this account because I haven't farmed that many bosses because there's a limited number of characters, right? I don't have useless Gladiator pieces, but, you know, this is the best flower I have for Gladiator. It's level 0, but, you know, you get the point. So I will farm for Arlecchino's new set on this account, but, like, it's not that crazy or anything, so... Sad. I'm not gonna throw it away because I don't know. Maybe I'll do some stuff with Vermilion on Shao in the future, but yeah. So yeah. Anyways, okay. This is giving me some motion sickness. I'm sorry. What is happening here? Well, I'm sure someone already knew about this, but this is a little bit of a buggy spot in the game, to say the least. Oh, she escaped. Oh, no she didn't. Raiden's just forever trapped. All I'm doing is holding W, by the way. Oh god, okay, I'm getting sick. Alright, I'm sorry. Okay, what was it saying? Yeah, this is not an Arlecchino stream. This is AR60 Polearm stream. No, she didn't. It's not going to be the end of the world for you to use different artifacts in Arlecchino, and in fact I am very confident there are circumstances where it's not going to be her best set, her new artifacts. Her new artifacts are going to be her most universal set, and I think to be clear, I think if you really like Arlecchino, her artifacts might be worth farming, because most universal is very relevant, because I really strongly believe a big part of what makes Arlecchino good is her potential versatility. It's always what I, generally speaking, have judged characters based on, is how versatile they are. And generally speaking, it's a lot harder for on-fielders for me to consider on-fielders more versatile versus off-fielders. But it really depends. Chiori is a way less versatile off-fielder than Arlecchino. Arlecchino's not an off-fielder, but Arlecchino is a more versatile character versus Chiori, even though Chiori is an off-fielder, and off-fielders tend to have way more versatility, right? So, her versatility, and by versatility I mean like the amount of different teams you could conceive of using Arlecchino in that are like competent, good teams. And that is the context of, if you're going to use Arlecchino a lot of different ways, that is the context in which you should probably consider farming her artifacts, but also at the same time, 4-piece Gladiator exists. There will probably never be a better character for using 4-piece Gladiator than Arlecchino. And if you've been playing this game a long time, leveling up a lot of characters, there's a chance you have a lot more Gladiator pieces than this account does. This account doesn't have that many Gladiator pieces because I just haven't Like I think there's a finite number of characters for me to farm bosses for. I don't need to farm that many bosses. So like I have some good gladiator pieces. Like I've got a couple good circlet options. But like I don't have a pyro onset goblet. I don't even know what I have for a timepiece on gladiator. I don't even have an attack percent timepiece leveled up for gladiator. Like, I obviously haven't farmed 0 bosses, but I've never intentionally farmed gladiator. Most people don't intentionally farm gladiator, but if you've had an account for a long time, you might just have a ton of random good gladiator pieces anyways, such that you might be only, you know, 1 piece away from having a really good gladiator set. And when you're comparing a really, really, really high quality, like a high amount of like substat value in gladiator versus doing 4 piece of Arlecchino's new artifacts or whatever else, like, is it really enough to farm for, is kind of my point. Chances are no. Because it's going to take you a lot of time and a lot of resin to get the new artifacts. And for what actual benefit? That you clear the abyss 4 seconds faster? It's probably not even going to be 4 seconds, because it's probably in the neighborhood of like a... I'm pretty sure Gladiator versus our signature artifact set is something in the neighborhood of like 5 to 10% better. Why did I go over here? I don't remember what I went over here. So, anywho's, no more Arlecchino talk. Done with Arlecchino talk. I'll have a separate stream. I knew this would happen. This is why I meant to put Arlecchino in the thumbnail, but I forgot to. Arlecchino will be talked about more this weekend, probably. Maybe next weekend. I don't know. The interruption resistance thing kind of makes me want to wait. Because we won't get 100% confirmation that... There's a couple things that actually are a little bit up in the air right now about Arlecchino's kit that are relatively important. But I don't think they're going to change anything fundamental about her kit. And therefore, I think I'm pretty safe to make a stream talking about her already. But we'll talk more about her in that stream. Let's go to the Abyss. We'll use more resin when we get a chance. Actually, wait, I know what I went over here for. I don't know why I went here specifically, but I went here for the crafting table. So, been working on characters lately, and my gladiator pieces have the best potential out of any other set. Yeah. Yes, we are doing floor 12 today, Man of Steel. No worries, no worries. That's part of my reason. Why did I go here? God, brain. Part of my reasoning today. Gladly, my internet seems to be functioning. No horrible ping spikes. We are going to 36 star the new Abyss cycle, which is going to be the hardest one I think Polearms Only has had in a while. It doesn't mean it's going to be hard necessarily. It just is going to be one of the hard... Actually, before we go into the Abyss, we're going to farm... in here, we're going to farm a little bit of Spectre drops, and then whatever the new enemy is to level up the event Polearm. I don't think the event Polearm is that good, by the way. It's mostly just a bad fav. Ideally, you would have a fav on most of the characters that can use the new event Polearm, but not everyone has extra copies of fav. You might need lots of copies of fav Lance, and it's still not a bad option as far as not having to think about it, not having to think about like crit rate that your character has in order to trigger fav, etc., etc. So, what did I come here for? Oh, I remember. Yes. There we go. I don't even have enough for 2. Wow. Okay. Yes. I will take. I'm going to close my eyes with this one. Right? So, as I said earlier in the stream, the main reason I'm farming echoes is not necessarily... Like, 4-piece echoes will be fun to test, because who has 4-piece echoes, right? But I'm mostly just like, both of the 2-piece sets in this domain give relevant pieces. And then... it's a relevant 2-piece combo, notably since I have this ridiculous 40 CV onset pyro goblet that I've had forever from the Abyss drops. I wanted to be able to at least do 2-piece for Arlecchino, because it will actually give me a lot more flexibility for doing 2-piece combos on her. Otherwise, right now, I basically would have to steal my Chevreuse's existing build for Arlecchino, which would be fine, but I'd much rather have more options. And, yep, this is kind of a good piece for that, potentially. So, I'm going to close my eyes, and... Yep, we're going to see what happens. We're gonna see. Yeah, I can talk about. Remind me in the chat a little bit. I can talk more about the event polearm, I guess, for what I can use it on. There's actually a reason in particular I want to level it up, and it's actually related to Arlecchino and Chevreuse. But, anywho's, close my eyes right now. Wait, put my mouse over the pointer. There we go. Close my eyes, and oh, I need to open my eyes. I had to. Yep. Okay. There we go. After I hit confirm. Okay. Close my eyes. Blam. Alright. Give me all the crit. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. The flat attack roll is a little bit sad, obviously, but let's see what the last roll goes. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh. It's a good artifact. I want to be clear. It's a very, 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 very good artifact. I want to emphasize this. It's not a bad artifact. If this were a normal account, that is very keepable. It's probably going to get thrown away. It's not good enough. Like, look at my Chevreuse's current build. 40 CV. This is, well, actually, no, this is not what I would use on Arlecchino. I'd probably use this one with attack percent or this one, right? This has higher stat value. This is higher stat value. And then, like, I don't know. I got to look through it. I'm not going to throw it away. I want to be very, very clear. I'm not going to throw it away. That's a very good artifact. The flat attack is still non-useless, to be abundantly clear. It's just like, if that had gone attack percent, man, I'd be like, let's go. And the flat attack is just, oh, man, like 2 out of 3 rolls not hitting is pretty bad. For the standards that this account has for artifacts now. Like I really wanted that to roll one more roll into crit or attack percent. And it was a 75% chance, and that's what I'm sad about. It was a 75% chance at the end there. So it's not bad. I'm not going to throw it away like until I get a better piece that would replace it, right? But if, like, chances are, like, when I start farming Arlecchino's set, this set will be, like, because once I'm not using this 2-piece set or 4-piece set on Arlecchino, this piece is useless for me. Is kind of what I'm saying here for this account, because I have a finite, like, they're not going to release that many polearm characters that care about that set, right? And I don't know, it's an okay piece, and it could be an onset piece for another pyro carry. It could be an onset piece for Chevreuse, for example. In fact, this is probably a side grade for Chevreuse right now. So now that I think about it, it might be keepable forever just for that purpose because of the fact that I have this and I like Chevreuse on a DPS build. Because let's see what, like as an example, right? This is a 40 CV piece, 1021. So this piece has 1 less crit damage roll, but it has attack percent on it. So our attack percent is 2041, and we lose pyro bonus obviously by switching to this. But let's see what our build looks like if we switch to this as an onset piece. And then now we can switch to, we can either, what do I have for Crimson? No, I don't have Crimson timepieces. So I'd probably keep on 2-piece attack in this context, right? Which is not that much worse than 2-piece pyro bonus. And then use an off-piece circlet, right? Which in this case could probably, ignoring ER needs, it could probably be... Yeah, ignoring ER needs, I would say the best one is probably going to be this one, right? Which, that's actually an onset piece too, that's funny. Which means, again, ignoring ER needs, I could put, now a higher piece on this one. So this is just like the value of onset goblets / onset pieces in general in 2-piece combos. So let's go attack percent. Crit rate 13. Let's see, I mean, I can use an off piece. So yeah, there we go. There's a 40. So again, ignoring ER needs, which is not irrelevant on Chevreuse in a DPS build. Like, this is not that far away from enough ER, right? This is a better 2-piece build. 2300 attack. That's 300 more attack. With quite a bit better crit ratio than I had before. Not insanely better. We're talking like 12% more crit damage and I think like 7% more crit rate. But that's a meaningful enough amount of crit value increase that if this is enough ER to burst every rotation still, then this is a better build, actually. And not to mention, there's actually, now that I think about it, there is reason to say use Staff of Home on another character, give Chevreuse one of my 12 Jadewing Spears, and then switch to a crit damage piece, right? Which that piece is a lot worse than the other one, but, you know, okay, that looks a lot worse, actually. Jade Spear. But, you know, you get the point. It gives me more options. Attack percent just has a little bit more value on Jade Spear versus on Homa. And yep, that's all there is to it. It's a good artifact. I'm just sad it's not. It was so close. It was so close to very cracked. It didn't even have to roll crit the last roll. It just had to roll attack percent or crit. It was a 75% chance. And this account has such good artifacts that it's like not really a difference maker at this point. But hey, it's another potential option for an onset piece, right? That opens up my builds to being a little bit more flexible, potentially. There we go. Oh, sorry, the crit damage was the same, so it was mostly just 5% more crit rate that I gained and a bunch of attack. Like, I think that other build was probably slightly stronger as far as... that other build should have been slightly stronger as far as total damage output goes, assuming that ER was enough. But I can tell you 300 attack is probably better most of the time than the 15% pyro damage bonus, particularly because Chevreuse gives herself some pyro bonus, but anywho's, haven't actually counted it out, that's just my vibe. Anywho's, is a good artifact, I want to be clear. On a normal account, I would never consider throwing that away, but it might get thrown away eventually on this account, just because I can see a future where it just is irrelevant, but it's not bad. Anywho's, what in the heck was I talking about before I got distracted doing that? I don't remember. We're gonna do Abyss. Oh, the new polearm. Yeah. So we're gonna go farm for that. So the context in which the context in which this polearm makes sense is primarily on Chevreuse with Arlecchino. Now, I prefer Chevreuse on a DPS build if I'm using Chevreuse with Raiden, because Raiden allows enough field time to, generally speaking, right, I can Raiden burst and I can Chevreuse burst. Like, both of them are relatively shorter window on-field DPSs for how they deal damage, right? Chevreuse versus Raiden. So right now I'm using Hu Tao, and it's mostly just for overworld convenience. Really? Game, can you stop janking out on the server there? And what was it saying? So, oh yeah. So for overworld, there we go. This is not the team I would normally use. Not that I couldn't use this team in Abyss; it would be fine. It has some advantages over like dynamic flexibility of like which character wanted to on-field, but generally speaking, it'd be something like, you know, Raiden, Zhongli, Thoma, Chevreuse, or whatever. And in that context, I prefer Chevreuse on a DPS build. But there is actually the context of this exact team, but replace Hu Tao with Arlecchino. And in that context, and there's a couple specific things about Arlecchino that I think that's going to actually be much more workable and much better than, because of Arlecchino's flexibility. It's going to be better than using Hu Tao in this team. And that frees up Hu Tao to be used in a different team potentially. Not that I'm always going to do it, but point is, I like a low healing build. Like a DPS, low healing, high DPS build for the purpose of Hu Tao enabling Martia's Hunters. If she heals too much, right, she won't trigger the passive for Martia's phase. C6 Chevreuse makes Martia's Hunters very much worthwhile to do on Hu Tao. Even if I'm not doing a full overload team, to be clear. So I've liked her on the DPS build basically for Raiden. I've liked her on the DPS build for use with Hu Tao. There's basically not much of a circumstance right now on this account where I want Chevreuse on anything other than a DPS build. But a way to build Chevreuse is just to fully focus in on her attack percent buff, right? Which requires her hitting 40k HP. And on top of that, you know, the benefit of incentivizing or going into this attack percent buff would be more healing. this weapon should enable her, like, it's just basically, in this context, it's mostly just a better black tassel. But it's a meaningfully better black tassel, right? Black tassel, where's black tassel? Gives a little bit more HP, technically, but the passive is useless, whereas this will give a little bit less HP, not much less, and restore a bunch of energy, which is meaningful. And that includes on Yao Yao, and that includes on Mika as well, right? So, but you have to use it. You can only really take use of the passive on characters that heal. But yeah, for Chevreuse, this will enable her notably to be able to use a build. I have Bennett holding the artifacts right now because you might say, why would you use Song of Days Past on Chevreuse? That seems a bit silly, does it not? Well, the reason being, if we put on the pieces that I have, and then I think we need a healing bonus. You might say healing bonus is confusing. The healing bonus is because we want to maximize the healing in order to maximize the buff we get from the set. This 4-piece healing set. Because it basically buffs based on recording healing in a 6-second period. So you want to heal as much as possible in a 6-second period. And per rotation, Chevreuse can trigger the buff to keep this thing simple. And per rotation, Chevreuse on this build, with this weapon, switch to it, can trigger the buff not quite to full on the first part, on the first time it triggers, but then she will trigger it fully on the second time it triggers because I have her C6. Let's go damage her. Actually, we'll just murder the Chevreuse so I can demonstrate this. Rip. That's what you get for interrupting my AR-60 thing earlier. There we go. Okay. So, watch how much she heals, right? So, the thing to watch out for is basically Chevreuse with her C6 will have a total, so her skill without C6. So, this is just C0 Chevreuse. This is level 13 though. Can heal 5.6% of her HP plus 706 per tick. And it heals for 12 seconds, and it heals every 2 seconds. You get 6 instances of healing. And then her C6 is an additional team-wide heal of 10% to the whole party. So, if I'll apply her skill, you can see she'll heal about 4,000. She'll heal 4,000, heal 4,000, 4,300. So, that's about 1,300. And then, same thing, 1,300, 1,300, and then that additional 5,000 that she healed. So, she went like almost to full there, right? This turns Chevreuse into not only just a really good, competent healer, but notably it can also proc this buff to its full damage twice. Sorry, the first time is not quite to full. It's like 80% of its full buff, which is fine. It's close enough, right? And on top of that, right, this build is not quite there, but on top of that, this weapon will enable me to do a healing bonus circlet to make the most out of this set on her, while also trying to get very close to maxing out her attack percent passive. Because that's what I would say the main downside of Fab is on her, is that, you know, if I wanted to do a healing focus build on her, she's only got 33k HP. So normally if people do a Fab build on Chevreuse, you would prioritize maxing out that attack percent passive, and you would sacrifice a bit of healing in exchange for the buff, right? So now I have at 38k HP. Let's see if we take damage here. Nope, of course. Now I'm at 38k HP. I will heal less, but you know, you get the advantage of the Fab particle, so it's not like one or the other is necessarily objectively better. Oh frick, I gotta wait 5 years. Fab is still better in a lot. Like, Fab is still, like, generally speaking, going to be better in a lot of contexts. Those contexts being you need the energy recharge, right? I can already tell you, having Chevreuse on a DPS build, I generally speaking don't need the energy recharge on Chevreuse, and I don't need the energy recharge on my other characters. So what it comes down to is that the healing set can actually provide more of a buff to the team, particularly in the context of, if you noticed before, where I said I was using Toma with Chevreuse a lot. Toma's on Noblesse. Therefore, there's no reason to put Chevreuse on Noblesse, because Noblesse does not stack. I could technically put her on Tenacity or something, but like this is a better buffing set than Tenacity would be for Chevreuse teams. This is very much like a hyper optimization thing. But my point is that like it's actually putting her on a healing focus build is not only better for survivability in the context of having Raiden and Arlecchino on the same team, wherein those like Raiden and Arlecchino are going to be taking up the field time, right? I don't want to be doing a damage focus Hu Tao in that, a damage focus Chevreuse in that context, because a damage focus Chevreuse would end up spending too much field time. Like there's no way I'm going to have Arlecchino, Chevreuse, and Raiden taking up on-field damage field time. So you may as well go more into Chevreuse just being a full buffer for Arlecchino or Raiden's damage, and that includes the healing set. It will make a noticeable difference, and enables me to like I checked some calcs to see how much more HP I would need, by the way, to max out her passive to get to the 40k with this weapon and with a healing bonus circlet, because obviously with an HP circlet it's not hard. You have an HP weapon and triple HP, you can get to 40,000 no problem, right? And in fact, this is probably what I'd recommend for most people. Again, I don't think it's actually worth hyper optimizing like this. Most people, you can take Chevreuse to level 80, throw her on this weapon, throw her on HP, and she should get really close to the max of the set. Don't worry about hyper optimizing and getting the most healing possible, like I am. It's just not worth. So, anyways, let me go back to this really quick, because I was going to demonstrate the difference in the healing bonus circle. So this is about the same HP, right? It's about the same amount of HP, but with a HP circlet versus a healing bonus circlet. We're healing 1,000 less HP per tick, so that is like 10,000 versus 13,000 healing, and yeah, we're not even getting 15k total HP when her C6 procs even. So that means we can't even max out this buff without doing a healing bonus circlet, basically. And this is with a crown skill, right? And triple HP on Fav. This build has upsides because Fav is nice. Fav is nice for energy for the teammates. But if your teammates don't need the energy, then healing is just better because it will max out the buff slightly more. It's the hyper optimization thing. It's highly unnecessary for most players to do, but this is kind of what I do on Polearms Only if I want to try to be successful. Is sometimes I feel the need to do the hyper optimal things, because like if you go watch back any of the times where I've cleared Abyss on Polearms Only, maybe today will be another example of this. Good lord, the amount of times I have 36 starred the Abyss on the dot of 7 minutes on the chamber, right, is a lot. So these hyper optimizations on this account might be the difference maker of me saving 2 or 3 seconds, and that can make the pain of having to optimize these abysses down a lot easier just by having the option to do this kind of thing, right? So I actually really appreciate this weapon for that. Is kind of my point. Technically I could have done a very similar thing with Black Tassel before, but now I have the ability to do it with the weapon that actually refunds energy to her, which is nice because her grouping does have enough. Her burst does have a little bit of potential like weird grouping utility, although it's not super easy to control, so it's not that relevant. But more importantly, it has a lot of stagger, which I think is very relevant. If enemies are staggered, they aren't attacking you. If they aren't attacking you, they aren't interrupting you. That's a form of interruption resistance. Wink. Anyways, man, I'm so tired of people. I'm so freaking tired of people like whinging about interruption resistance. It's just like, did I finish my hot take from earlier? My hot take from earlier, by the way, is that people have gotten so used to the Zhongli dongles and so used to trying to like, oh my god, I gotta like, it's a time challenge. I gotta go as fast as possible. I gotta do my precise inputs at the exact times and never consider doing anything else. I'm not gonna look at the enemy mechanics or anything. I'm not gonna think about doing anything other than just pressing my character inputs, because that's the only thing happening, right? There's nothing else happening. So therefore, I just need to have no interruptions. I don't, like, I'm sorry for being a butthole here, but like, I just think it's boring. Like I never intend to get Zhongli. The only way I get Zhongli on my main account is like for meme purposes, for a video. Like I do have ideas to do meme builds on my main account that would make him properly kind of fun. But it's mostly just using nuances of the fact that he has a very fast normal attack chain. I've done something like that before on Polearms Only, right? But like using him as he's intended as a defensive unit is so freaking boring. Like, man, I don't know. Like, to be clear, and like, but ultimately, like, the reason Zhongli exists though, and the reason like Zhongli has value at the end of the day is because characters don't have interruption resistance. Like your on-field DPS units don't have interruption in their kit. So you have an incentivization to use characters like Zhongli or use characters like Xingqiu, right? Like what gives these characters defensive utility? What gives these characters having defensive utility in their kit value? Like the fact that these characters have defensive utility and has value is inherent to needing that defensive utility for your on-field units. It's fine if an on-field unit does not have like interruption resistance. So anyways, why y'all so boring? Sorry for slandering people that like Zhongli or anything, or like interruption resistance. Like, not that interruption resistance is bad. There's lots of contexts where interruption resistance is quite nice to have. I have found having Zhongli very useful on Polearms Only. I'm not saying it's bad. It is good in a lot of ways. It's just ultimately a balance. Why did I not attack the things? It's just ultimately a balancing thing for character kits, right? And a character not having interruption resistance in their kit is a balancing measure of being like, hey, if you want... Really, bro? If you want the interruption resistance, use it from another character that gives it to you, or another thing going on. I think miHoYo could do a better job of like particularly giving avenues of interruption resistance that aren't from... Like, I think one of miHoYo's biggest design failings is underutilization of the artifact system. Like, I think they really should have something in the game that gives you interruption resistance through like a 4-piece artifact bonus, right? Like, can you imagine a 4-piece artifact set that like gave, let's say, 8 seconds of interruption resistance for your whole team? In miHoYo's artifact design, in case anyone hasn't like noticed, is just gives some amount of stats, right? They very rarely do anything with artifacts, especially nowadays, that are anything other than just give stats to characters. I think it's a big failing of the game's design and a big failing of the potential of the artifact system not to have artifacts do things other than that. Yeah, so like, I get it. I get why you want interruption resistance. I'm not dumb. But it's a balancing thing with the character's design. It's fine. So anyways, there's my hot take for the stream. Thank you, Sylvian, for being a member for 14 months. You're crazy. Yoink. Give me the drops. I don't regret Zhongli only because of mono geo. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not saying like people shouldn't pull Zhongli. I just think a lot of players in this game have gotten way too used to having him and way too used to never even bothering trying to think about playing the game in a slightly different way than the way they're used to, which is the not being interrupted style. I think Zhongli was unhealthy for the game in that sense. Unhealthy for the community, actually, in that sense. It's probably the better way to describe it, rather than the game. Ultimately, this is a single-player game, for the most part. Play the in-game how you feel like. Don't let a butthole streaming tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just saying the conversation around Arlecchino needs interruption resistance is a bit tired. Like, let's look at the characters in the game. What on-field DPS... Oh, this is the wrong page. What on-field DPS in the game have interruption resistance? Again, right? You know who could use interruption resistance? Good God, I kind of wish Shan Yun had interruption resistance. The amount of times I have pressed E and then tried to plunge you have to do E plunge to get energy out of her, right? From her skill. The amount of freaking times that got knocked out of the air with this lady. Ugh. It's like she needs interruption resistance more than. To be clear, again, that can again still be like incentivization to use defensive units. It's fine. It's fine. It's just it is like a balancing thing for her. It's again, it's fine. It's just like I would appreciate interruption resistance more on her than a DPS unit. Anyways, let's look at the on-fielders that don't have interruption resistance. None, as far as I'm aware. Nope, has none. Has none. Has none. Pretty sure has none. Like, to be clear, by has none, I think a lot of characters have, like, slightly increased interruption resistance. Like, for example, Cyno has increased interruption resistance, but not full interruption resistance. And that's fine. In my opinion, I think that's even better. Like, I think the better approach is just giving characters some smaller degree of interruption resistance that's increased. That way, when you use someone like, you know, some other character that can give you interruption resistance, it gives you that additional layer that it maintains you still get some value from your defensive units, right? So, we're not going to say Chiori is an on-fielder. You are an on-fielder. You do not have interruption resistance. You don't have interruption resistance without C1. You give interruption resistance. I think they overvalued the interruption resistance you give in your kit, but they did give you it, which is cool. You do not, I don't think. I could be wrong. You definitely do not, and it's a big part of the reason I actually dislike. Man, Jeff said on like a clip that I saw the other day that Wander was better for defensive utility because like you're in the air. I have played Wander a minimal degree in my brother's account without Zhongli, notably, without a shielder, and he feels like butt without Zhongli, or without just a competent high uptime shielder. Like to be not like, what was that notification sound? Shut up. Man, this character like does not feel good because you can't dodge as easy. Like dodging is you do dodging. Like I don't like how they made a lot of things with this character. You do have like the free dodges, which is good. Like he's not terrible for defensive utility in his own inherent kit, but like I think the fact that most people play a shielder with him is very telling for his defensive utility. His being in the air is not a good form of interruption resistance, to say the least. Cyno, mentioned before, has a little bit, but technically no. Most people still like to play shielders with him for that. I personally find it unnecessary to play a shielder with him for the interruption resistance aspect, but I get why you want to. Again, it's fine. Again, it's a balancing thing. Although Cyno has other problems that aren't interruption resistance based. I think Cyno is someone who could use more interruption resistance in his base kit to help balance out the problems his other aspects have. Cyno's got like the worst of all worlds as far as like things on-fielders shouldn't have to make them feel satisfying to players and valuable to players. What I would describe it as. So, yeah. Candice is an on-fielder, but no, she does not have... No, Tignari does not. Yelan does not. Yai does not. Yai is not really meant to be that much of an on-fielder. She spends a meaningful amount of field on time that oftentimes you can get whacked out of like doing her skill or something. If you just think about things a little bit more, think about what the enemies are doing, rather than just being like, I gotta press E. And, like, you think about the direction you're pressing your E in to be able to like use Yai's E to move out of the way of the enemy as it's like positioning, or the fact that she's a range character means you don't even need to be right by the enemy when you're doing it in the first place. So like it's like not that hard. Like, I'm not saying it's like it's a skill issue, but like just think about trying to play slightly differently. Like Ito, I don't remember. I don't think he does have any interruption resistance. I don't think. Raiden does. In her burst, obviously. Eula does. Hu Tao does not. Yanfei does not. Xiao does not. Connie does not. Tarteg, as far as I'm aware, does not. Kajang does not. Klee does not. Like, you get the point. If a number of good characters in the game can be good without interruption resistance, does Arlecchino need it? That's all. I know C1 Neuvillette has interruption resistance. I think giving Neuvillette interruption resistance at C1 was a mistake, by the way. That might be one of my hottest takes ever. Fixing builds. Give me a second. I'm probably going to have a full video on not just C1 Neuvillette, but I'm going to have a full video basically being like, yeah, I think C1 Neuvillette can be very much worth it if you really, really like Neuvillette, I think. If I was still enjoying playing Neuvillette, if I hadn't gotten bored of him after like a month, no, sorry, more like a month and 3 weeks. If I hadn't gotten bored of Neuvillette after, 2 months, then C1 Neuvillette would be interesting to me. But if you're someone who doesn't have Neuvillette yet, and you're trying to think, and you have enough wishes to potentially get C1, and you're trying to think of whether or not it's worth going for it, I would say no, in my opinion. But I will have a full video explaining my thinking on that. I think his interruption resistance and his C1 breaks what makes the Neuvillette a balanced character is basically all it comes down to. And that's a personal take, to be clear. It's not going to extrapolate to everyone. It's going to be highly preferential. But anyone that thinks he's overpowered as heck, every single person that I've seen message me or comment that Neuvillette, I shouldn't say every single, the vast majority of the people that have messaged me about Neuvillette being an overpowered character, when I ask them like, oh, okay, are you using C1, and usually they're using C1 R1, are you using C1 Neuvillette? And their answer is usually yes. I think C1 Neuvillette breaks his balance. Where the frick is the Pyro Goblet? Oh yeah, this one. Bennett is my artifact loadout for Chevreuse, by the way. I just need to find Bennett. There he is. That's Bennett. That's how Bennett is useful on Polearms Only. He is an artifact loadout. Why do you have 90% curve? What's going on? I feel like you didn't have 90% crit rate before. What's happening? I'm confuddled. Maybe you did? Did you have 90% crit rate before? Whatever, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Really? Did I finish farming those? Man, there's none of those monsters, is there? So, anyways, if you have had C0 Neuvillette for, since his original banner, he hasn't had any reruns yet. Let's go see if we can craft enough. And you are still enjoying playing him a lot, right? I think, but you think you would gain value from the fact that you would gain more team options, right? Because by not having, if you're someone who feels like, which for Neuvillette, I think having interruption resistance is more relevant for him, because for Neuvillette compared to like Arlecchino, you get interrupted, your attack chain gets interrupted. You're only losing as much damage as you would have gotten in the time frame when you got like knocked back, which is like a 1-2 second window, or like 1 second, right? You get knocked back by an enemy by Helichurl with Arlecchino, and like you lose a couple of normal attacks. With Neuvillette, you get interrupted, right? Particularly if you get interrupted at the start of his charge attack, he needs to like go through his full charge attack to get his value out of him, right? So Neuvillette is much worse to get interrupted than someone like Arlecchino. You lose much more of his potential. You can lose much more potential damage output for what he does when you get interrupted with him. So it makes more sense to want interruption resistance on him, especially given that one of the main characters that can give interruption resistance, why did I come here, is Xingqiu, and Xingqiu is obviously not a teammate you would use with Neuvillette, right? Or Xingqiu is a teammate you would use with Arlecchino. So, point being, Neuvillette actually has more need on a mechanical level than Arlecchino does for interruption resistance. And so I can absolutely understand why you would go for C1 Neuvillette. I absolutely do not want to, though. I've already gotten bored of him, and I think his C1 makes him even more boring. I think what makes him still potentially engaging to play, for me personally, is the fact that he can get interrupted. And I think that's what makes him balanced for all the things he is strong for. He's a strong character, and I think his balance is that he can be interrupted, and being interrupted is very punishing on him. That is the balance. It's not that different from like how punishing being interrupted is on Wander, right? You get knocked out of the air from Wander. When you're playing Wander, if you get knocked out of the air, it's a similar degree of punishing as I'd say Neuvillette is. Wander might, you can argue, is even more punishing. But the thing with Neuvillette is that... Sorry, I'm having a stroke. What was I doing here? This is why I'm going to make a dedicated video on this, by the way, so I can actually have coherent statements. Wander and Neuvillette are similar, right? In that, you know what, we're going to go for some sucrose doubling. 2 doubles, that's good enough. Well, maybe not good enough. Let's see. Double me sucrose. But yeah, Neuvillette, 1 bonus. It's not enough, is it? Shoot. Shooty patooties. Okay. Neuvillette is a good character. Being interrupted, wanting interruption resistance on him makes more sense, and he has less options for interruption resistance than other characters. That's what I'll keep it at. So I can absolutely get why you would want to go for C1 for the interruption resistance, and notably for the fact that it increases his team versatility by not having to, like, if you feel like you want interruption resistance, which makes more sense on him, then it can make sense to potentially go for C1 if you feel like you're still getting a lot of value out of him 6 months later. But if you're someone who doesn't have Neuvillette right now, I don't think you should go for C1 right now. I think going for his C1 is a wait and see if you get bored of him until his next rerun kind of thing. Or if you get bored of Genshin, right? Like the time between Neuvillette's first banner and then his new banner coming up in 2 weeks here is like half a year or close to half a year. I don't know exactly. That's a long time. A lot of people probably start playing and stop playing Genshin in the time frame. So like, I don't know. You can, generally speaking, have more fun getting more characters with your wishes and playing around with different things than you would necessarily from getting a constellation. If you have enough wishes right now and you don't have Neuvillette currently and you don't know how much you'd actually enjoy him long term. It's kind of all my point is. I advise doing the smart thing. And if you think you really want Neuvillette C1 right now when you don't even have a Neuvillette at all right now, at the very least use him without getting a C1, because I think way too many people just like dump all their wishes. Like I could dump all my wishes, get a Chiori C1, right? And then I activate my Chiori C1 right away, and I never actually have the ability to even have a perspective on whether or not C1 versus C0 made a meaningful difference, right? Like I bet you, Chiori is another example where like, I bet you if you wanted Chiori for Navia, for example, because like there's not great second Geo teammates for Navia. Most people, if you're going to use Chiori for Navia, let's say you're just doing the Navia Bennett Zhongli team and then you're throwing Chiori in as the last slot, most people, you would get probably most of the value Chiori would give to having Chiori in a Navia team just by having Chiori C0 in a Navia team. Her C1 is basically just bait to fully like make her have her competent damage that you would get if you were using her with the Geo Construct Creator, right? But like, we're talking, what is that actual increase that you would notice for like the team's damage? Is the team going to play any differently with Chiori C1? No. Is it going to deal a little bit more damage? Yes. Okay. How much more damage? Well, for the whole team's damage, being that Chiori is not the primary damage dealer in a Navia team, not that much more. You might not even notice it that. And for potentially 150 wishes more to get a Chiori C1, right? Like, just use the character at C0 at the very least. At the very least. Like, if you get them right away when their banners first slide, use them for 3 weeks and get their constellation the last day. But even then, I advise waiting until their next banner. So C1 Chiori is just like C1 Hu-Tao. We made a problem about a solution. Yeah, except, is it actually a problem, is my point. Have you actually played Navia Chiori together with Chiori C0 and then played that team, and then compared that to what the experience is with Chiori C1. The difference is that you will see 2 dolls, and 2 dolls will be dealing damage. If Chiori is, if that is like Chiori C1 in Navia teams can be like a, what is that? Probably like a 40% upgrade, I think, for Chiori's damage in a Navia team.
Stop right there.
Yeah, I got them all. Wait, no, one of them got away. Crap. It can be like a 40% upgrade for Chiori's damage in a Navia team specifically. And it's really only relevant for Navia specifically. So the specific problem they created is not really that much of a problem, is basically my point I'm trying to illustrate here. So it's a problem that is bait for specifically Navia. It's a dick move, to be clear. I think it's really freaking dumb. I dislike a lot of how Chiori is designed. But when questioning how much it's actually worth it, regardless of them designing a problem and creating the solution, what is the actual result, right? If you're using Chiori C0 in a Navia team versus using Chiori C1 in a Navia team, Chiori will deal 40% more damage. But Chiori is not dealing the majority of the damage for the team. If you want to vertically invest in a Navia team's damage, get Navia's weapon or her constellation instead. You will see more of an increase in how the team feels and performs than you would from getting Chiori C1. That's the basic problem. If you're heck-bent on making, Chiori, Navia, Zhongli, Bennett as good as possible, and you already have C6 Navia and her weapon, or not that you'd have to have C6 Navia, but let's just say you have C2 Navia or something, or C1, C2 Navia, and her weapon already, and you already got Chiori C0, and you're considering should you go for Chiori C1. Maybe, if you're already that hyper-invested, maybe you will notice it, but even then, honestly, I highly doubt you will. We're talking about a constellation that's probably, optimistically, I think a 5% DPS upgrade for the team. Are you really going to pull for another copy of a character for a 5% DPS upgrade? So, I don't get it, right? It's bait. It's bait. That's all it is. That's all it is. Can I not view Chiori's? I don't even care. Anyways, C1 Hu Tao is more like quality. I think C1 Hu Tao is more a case of creating a problem, selling a solution than Chiori C1 is, because C1 Hu Tao is an actual problem in my opinion. Like, this character plays completely differently, with C1 versus without. So yeah, I don't know. They literally made a character where they designed this character to do as many charge attacks as possible, and then they said, what if we make it so that you don't consume stamina with her C1, right? For a character that's doing as many charge attacks as possible, it completely changes how she feels to play. Like, there's C0 Hu Tao gameplay, exciting, and then C1 Hu Tao gameplay can dynamically switch to different enemies. You can purposely more freely utilize it for AoE. You can and the nuance of having to control what direction you press the dash cancel in. I didn't even do it there. Is I don't know. It just feels so much more engaging to play to me. Constellation should just be damage upgrades for DPS units. They should just be damage upgrades. I'm also of the opinion that anything past C2 should not exist for limited 5 stars. But let's go to Abyss. Chiori C1 does 60% more damage according to I Win to Lose. I don't know if I trust I Win to Lose. I Win to Lose, aka the guy that definitely doesn't just take information from people that do his work for him. Okay, I shouldn't be an asshole like that. I just saying I don't think he ever made that good of guides. I don't know what the actual increase in damage is for Chiori specifically in a Chiori in a Navia team. my baseline for doing, or for saying a 40% damage upgrade was because Chiori C1, what it does is it summons AoE of the Automaton doll is increased. That's just the range it attacks from. And then it summons another doll if there is specifically another Geo party member. So like if Chiori C1 did not have this Geo clause, by the way, Chiori C1 would be much better. Because this would make Chiori an interesting, versatile unit to be slotted into any team, including teams that don't use other Geo teammates, right? Chiori C1 would be good if it didn't have this Geo clause. That's the thing that kills this, and that's the thing that makes it only relevant for Navia. Basically only relevant for Navia. Some additional thing. So all this does, right? All this does. I was just double checking, make sure there wasn't any other damage increase that I forgot about with it. All this does is make it so that she doesn't need a Geo construct to summon 2 dolls, right? And 2 dolls is an additional like 4 or 5 hits of her defense scaling tomato damage. And what is it? Is it 4 hits or 5 hits? I think it's 5 hits, right? 17 divided by 3.6. Let me just do the math quick so I don't... rare instance, by the way, of them actually saying what the attack interval is in a kit. Like, thank God, Jesus. It annoys me so much they don't list attack intervals. It's 4.7 hits. Is it really only 4 times? 17 divided by 3.6 is 4.7. It's either 4 or 5. We'll just say 5, right? Let's assume it's 5. If you factor in her burst damage, and you factor in her single doll damage, and then notably you factor in her passive damage, right? Like she gets damage from this passive regardless of how many dolls she has out, from what I recall. This is where I could be wrong. One of the I'm correct, because it has this limit where 2 such coordinated attacks can occur per seize the moment duration. So you always get a set value of this regardless of the amount of dolls you have per rotation. And you always get the burst damage doesn't change with our C1. So assuming you are bursting a rotation, which is not always the case for Chiori, because you shouldn't overly spec into ER with her. So it depends. But it shouldn't be 60%. I don't think. But anyways, it might be close to 60%. Regardless, if Chiori is doing 20% of the team's damage, if Chiori is doing 20% of the team's damage in a Navia team, which I don't even think is necessarily that high, is she really? I mean, no, she doesn't snapshot Bennett's buff or anything. So I don't know. I haven't looked at what the damage splits for Navia, Chiori, Zhongli, Bennett is, but like Zhongli deals a lot of damage. So is Chiori really doing 20% of the damage? I don't know. But let's assume Chiori is doing like 20% of the damage on a Navia, Zhongli, Bennett, Chiori team. And C1 is a 60% damage upgrade. 1, is that actually necessary for clearing the content? Probably not, but maybe it is for you. That depends on your level of account investment. But I assure you, a Chiori, a Navia, Zhongli, Bennett team with Chiori C0 can probably clear with realistic levels of artifact investment. You don't need C1 probably to clear the content. So why do you actually need C1 then? For a functional reason? You don't. Okay, so 60% damage upgrade. Let's assume it's 60% instead of 40%. 60% damage upgrade on 20% of the team's damage. What does that work out to be? It works out to be basically the same what I said before, where like it's a 5% damage upgrade for the team, maybe. It's not nothing, technically. But as far as vertically investing in Navia teams go, where's Navia? Right? Her weapon or her constellation is probably going to make more of a difference. Well, her C1 is a little bit weird. It's more energy refunding. Her C2. So, anyways. Yeah, like I would, if you're going to vertically invest in Navia team, as far as like vertically invest for wishing goes, get her weapon or get her constellation over C1 Chiori. C0 Chiori will be more of a difference maker to your Navia potentially, and she's not that great of a teammate for Navia necessarily compared to even Geo Traveler, but she'll be more of a something you will see the difference in as far as vertical investment goes. 60% increase does sound overkill to me. That's, yeah, I know. That's why I was kind of sideline bashing I Win to Lose, but I shouldn't bash him because like I haven't actually watched this freaking guide or anything, so I'm not gonna. I haven't actually watched this guide and I haven't tried to verify his math myself. That just sounds like a not correct estimate to me. So yeah. Anywho's, then you can use Chiori C1 with, it would be better that you don't need another Geo to make 2 dolls. Oh yeah, Marcel, that's what I was talking about with Chiori C1, where if it didn't have that Geo clause, it would be so much better of a constellation. It's a bait constellation because of that Geo clause. It's only relevant for Navia right now. And even for Navia, it's like not the smart way to invest. It's just a bait thing to get you to continue wishing, like, so. And even if you have Navia, Navia has enough team options that I don't think there's much reason to get Chiori for Navia. Okay, what am I doing for this floor? What polearms you don't have? We have all polearm characters. Oh boy. Like, if people want to complain about interruption resistance, they should complain more about the fact that they put Capellius. they put Capellius on the first half in the same side that they put the shield punishing. This is more of a FU to interruption resistance than anything. It's fine. It's a deal withable problem. I like problem solving abysses like this one. It's just like, oh my, that's a bit oof. It's fine. Zhongli is more valuable on the second side, in my opinion, for this mighty butthole. This veteran mech. This butthole's attacks. The thing is, you're supposed to plunge to get this thing's shield, right? The problem with that is when you're doing jumping and plunging, you can't see its attacks on the ground, like where its attacks are very easily. So it's very easy without to get hit for a lot of damage against this mech. And then mechanical. By the way, I'm kind of this is a terrible. I plan on making a plunge Eula video this week. I'm gonna record it tomorrow, most likely. I'm almost done ascending Eula. This is a terrible freaking abyss for plunge Eula. It's actually just awful. Because this side, the second side, punishes physical damage with both this thing and this thing, and Cloud Retainer's buff. Like this is one thing I said originally, and like that I really disliked about Cloud Retainer's original kit, is that it is terrible for, like, it doesn't scale with AoE. So like this chamber, plunge Eula loses, like Cloud Retainer is very much more of a single target buffer, is basically what it is. Yeah. So this is a terrible abyss for plunge Eula. We'll see how it goes, though. It might be a video where I stick more to fighting the local legends for that reason. Anywho's, what do I do? I would prefer to figure out a team that can deal with both sides. So I think what I'm leaning towards is doing Yoldi melts. I might... Rosaria's on the new Battle Pass weapon for this melt team right now. It's not as... This team, though, is stronger in... Okay, the problem is, right, the melt team... This melt team is stronger in AoE than it is single target, but it's also Shenhe's buff when there is too many enemies falls off very quickly. Like if I hit all these specters at once with Rosaria's skill, I immediately lose Shenhe's buff. Also, there's Pyrus. Well, the Pyrus Spectre shouldn't be a problem. But also, I'd be using Zhongli on this second chamber, which I don't think that'll be that much of a problem. Yeah, I think we're gonna try it like that. The second chamber might be a bit weird with Zhongli against these buttholes, but we'll see what happens. Let's do, and then we're gonna do Chevreuse Raiden, and we're gonna do this, I think. And the reason we're doing that is because Well, this is not going to be optimal, but this second team has enough way to constantly deal single target damage. Like, I can use Raiden or Hu Tao, even though like I'm not going to be able to fit them both into a rotation. This is an example of a team that like doesn't have like a rotation per se. It more just has a lot of ways to always be dealing damage. And therefore, like, the concept of a rotation kind of just goes out the window with this team. And it's a lot better for actually dealing with situations like this, where I need to spend some time getting to the shield, and then in the downtime where it doesn't have a shield up, I want to make sure I deal as much damage as possible in the window where its shield is down. And trying to line up a traditional like rotation to that is annoying. Whereas this team doesn't have a traditional rotation; it's flexible for just like do damage while I have while I have the window open for damage. So. You don't see, but you can hear the mech attacks. I can't hear where our circle is. I've forgotten the well. I did forget the well, I'm sorry. Alright. That was interesting, the positioning change there. I forgot about the mage, by the way. That's actually really annoying. Okay. There we go. We got through it. Oh, okay. Okay, this. Ooh. Taking 2 rotations to get through that is not ideal. Ah, why are you over here? You're gonna bond of life me, aren't you? Fine, I think. That's not ideal. Ooh, I got bonded. Not ideal. That's gonna hurt Rosaria. I have no way to clear the bond of life, obviously, when I Ooh, I maybe need more energy on Shenhe. Did I change her build by accident? I either changed her build or I just scuffed and didn't get enough skills out on Rosaria. Probably the former. Why? Oh my god, where are you? Oh, there you are. For a bit. Couldn't see where they were. Oh boy. Oh boy, my ER is just not great here, is it? This team normally doesn't have ER issues, but I don't think I changed that much on the team. Okay. Let's leave for now. Check my energy situation. No, it's not energy. Oh, I just abandoned it. Oh, I guess I was gonna abandon it. You. I think that's what I normally used. I think I have a higher. Is it? Oh yeah, I think I was using that. Why? Yeah, I have this with 22 ER. It's a lot less attack. Should be fine. I think I was mostly just playing the team badly, to be honest. Is Raiden going to... Boy, Hybrid Raiden's going to be a lot worse on the Battle Pass weapon, but we're going to test out Hybrid Raiden on the Battle Pass weapon. And then we're going to put Rosaria on Staff of Scarlet Sands, because that is my bigger concern right now. Do I have an attack percent type? Because the ER I do, I have 1. Okay. Okay, that's just better. Yeah, there we go. Got 2 more rolls of ER on her. 81, 196, 139. Okay. With Staff of Scarlet Sands. Let's go. Will weapons only get a video? I'm actually intending to record a weapons only video today. Which means I should probably finish the stream eventually. But let's see. This might be an abyss that requires, if the Zhongli situation, these black holes is problematic, we'll have to switch to a different team for the second chamber, but we'll see. I don't think it'll be that much of a problem. We will see, we will see. Oh, the chicken should be easy. So I don't think I need to clear this in a minute and a half or anything, to be clear. But I think about 8 minutes would be my goal.
Unleash judgment.
Solidify.
Still unfortunate we didn't kill him in one rotation. Might kill one of them. We didn't kill the other one, that's fine. I guess we should do this. That, and then... Yep, there we go. That's what I was thinking would happen. It's got my rotation entirely, but it's fine. Really? I didn't trigger fast. Oh my god. Jesus, okay. I have completely scuffed my rotation, which might have me here, but we'll see. A little bit of bond on me, that should be fine.
Order guide. Solidify.
Unleash.
Everyone has bond on them. Ow. I don't know why I ran over here, by the way. What is my Zhongli energy issues? I think I just scuffed up one, like, the thing with engulfing on... Why did you not, like, I thought you were going to group on me, to be honest. Oh boy. I didn't get my energy back! Oh my god. Okay, well. Well, that was scuffed. I did okay for a bit there, and then I just scuffed the last 30 seconds. Horribly. I think what happened there was like I screwed up. Alright, engulfing gives you 30% energy recharge. If I can get most of the particles, like get Zhongli particles from like a few particles from Goba, get some fab particles to Zhongli during the like 8 seconds or something that engulfing lightning's extra 30 ER is up, that kind of can be the difference maker. But anywho's. And crit. Honestly, not that far off. Not first try. A little bit harder of an abyss, but doable.
Manifest by ordinance divine. You can't run. Shiver.
I will have order. Stabilize.
Why did you get outside of the circle, you absolute butthole?
Cryo incarnate. Lights out.
Solidify. This is order.
Unleash.
Probably should not have thrown Boba down there, but oh well.
By ordinance divine. Surprise. Obey. You can't run. Punishment.
I will have order.
Please remain seated. Cryo incarnate. Unleash.
Trying to focus a bit more, in case it's not obvious.
This is order.
What? I didn't get any particles. What happened? Where are you? Just why? What? Why? Why did that happen? Freaking game.
Obey.
Oh my god. These enemies' movement mechanics, to be clear, this is my own failing in not being used to fighting these enemies and their movement mechanics. Like, I should just have not used Shinha's skill there. Take a drink of water.
Do your master's bidding.
It's just like, these things should have already been dead by now.
Can't run.
Oh my god.
Gather.
Manifest. Pardon me.
Okay, I want to clear this chamber. I'm gonna redo the chamber to get more time on chamber 2. Alright, yeah, that's fine. We still did well. Like, I did so well on the start of it there. So much better on the start of it there than I did before that it was fine. But this is a perfect example, by the way, of how you play is much more important, even outside of having interruption resistance or not. How you play, based on what the enemy's doing, is much more important than just your raw damage performance necessarily, right? So, anywho's. Let's start with Wu Tao this time.
Stop right there. Shine down.
Don't get too close. Here's backup.
Drop your weapon. Inazuma shines eternal.
There we go. No problem. See, just needed a not terrible clear on the first side. All right, we're gonna leave and we're gonna redo just to make sure we have energy in the second chamber, because the second chamber is probably going to be our hardest chamber. I think it's got a lot of waves. And what is the second, third? Oh yeah, Capelli is in the first part, which Capelli takes some decent skill. Like this boss gets through Zhongli shield relatively fast, but I think we'll be fine. I think. So the key is more whether or not this will be a problem, because this is like the wave of specters, the whopper flowers, and then these buttholes, and then these buttholes get their own shields if you use shield on yourself, which might mean I need to like change the team around to deal with chamber 2, but we'll see. Yeah, the Whopper Flower is a tiny HP, but I am also well, we'll see. They can be weirdly annoying with getting knocked back a lot of times. I don't know. Arlecchino can heal, by the way. She heals herself, and she also was changed in the last beta to heal a lot more, and that, in my opinion, has made her any issue people should have with healing. Like I guarantee you, the discourse around Arlecchino is gonna be, when she releases, like, it's gonna be similar to Neuvillette when like, holy crap, this character just like heals themselves to full all the time, like right, like she heals at a minimum 50% of her HP in her current beta state if they don't tweak anything per rotation, and that's at minimum. Usually it's going to be more. That's more than Neuvillette heals per rotation. To be clear, Neuvillette, or to be clear, like Neuvillette can heal, right? Arlecchino cannot heal, but Arlecchino also has the ability to heal more based on you choosing to stop using her early. Like there will be teams that, for example, let's say if you're doing Raiden and Arlecchino together, you might very well want to end Arlecchino's rotation a little bit early, you know, therefore losing some damage you could get out of Arlecchino by staying on field with her longer, in favor of switching to Raiden to deal Raiden damage or to deal whatever other character's damage. And the side benefit of that is even when you cut out her rotation early, you'll have more Bond of Life remaining, and more Bond of Life remaining when you choose to stop on fielding Arlecchino will be more healing. Like if you stop attacking with Arlecchino with 40% of her Bond of Life left, which is only like missing out on like 2 or 3 normal attacks at C0, you were getting 80% of your HP back when you next use Arlecchino's skill. Like she can be at 20% health and go to full health at the start of the next rotation. I'm not saying she won't be a little bit risky, because like when you have that 20% health, she only heals after you do her skill, right? So she'll be a little bit risky, but it'll just be like, don't get hit the moment you swap into her. You just gotta get your skill out and you'll heal. It's not that different from Neuvillette, wherein you just gotta absorb the balls and he heals. But she has the ability to heal more based on your situational need. Oh, why did that first? On Polearms Only, the plan is at least C0 R1 Arlecchino. Currently, I want with what the C1 currently is, I want C1 too. I don't care that much about the interruption resistance aspect. Will be useless, to be clear. It's just less important to me than other aspects. Can you just die? See how this goes if I wait to start a full rotation. It's a bit rough that you can't iframe through the Bond of Life application from these boys. Ladies. I don't think they're boys. I can't tell. There's too much going on. Doesn't matter. They're things that need to die. In this case, gender is irrelevant. The only reason I want Arlecchino's weapon, but I don't think I actually have that much of a need for it. Well, it will be nice, but like Arlecchino's weapon just looks cool. Let's be real. What else am I gonna spend my resources on Polearms Only, realistically? And God, I need to like get hit slightly less. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna redo this. I want to get hit slightly less by the Bond of Life so that I'm not at 0 HP. Not like I have Zhongli, to be clear, but in the next chamber, Zhongli, I might not use his shield in favor of trying to just, because if I use his shield, I might trigger the enemy mechanics where they get their own shield. So I might not use Zhongli's shield in the next chamber, which means I really would like to have some health. So, anyways, I would like C1 R1 Arlecchino on Polearms Only. On my main account, I'll get C0 Arlecchino, and the main things I'm going to do with Arlecchino on my main account are probably not with her weapon anyways. I am very bullish on, this is not meant to be an Arlecchino stream, but I'm pretty bullish on Arlecchino being really good for Burgeon, and I think it's going to be the archetype where she is uniquely the best in, is my current feeling. But the other like overall statement say about my current feelings, I think what Arlecchino her Arlecchino's current state to me feels like she's very versatile, and I like versatility in characters. I think that makes her a lot better, and I think that'll make her a lot more valuable to a lot more players over a lot longer potential time frame too. And I think she'll grow more as new units are released more than, you know, not that like other pyro carries don't grow with other units being released. Hu Tao's obviously gained more value with other units being released and more team options, which is good, but I think Arlecchino will grow more. And I think she's in a healthy state for being a very versatile unit at C0 without her weapon. But with her weapon is like the difference maker of her like properly being like as good as Hu Tao, if not better. I don't know exactly, but like it's I think it's weird to even compare the two exactly. Overall, Arlecchino is in a good, healthy, versatile state, and I think she's going to be the problem she has, and this is like the problem on a theory crafting level. If you've seen people poo-pooing her like, ugh, she's worse than Hu Tao, is that she's to me, as far as like pyro carries go, she is a jack of all trades, master of none, except for she might be master of Burgeon. I am pretty bullish on her Burgeon potential. Right, a jack of all trades, master of none type of pyro on-fielder is my current feelings about her. And that makes me far more interested in her on my main account even. Right, like I'm going to go for her on my main account. That's my current intention, barring them changing some specific things that I think it's highly unlikely they change. See, when I do things properly, I have no problem getting both Shenhe's and Xiangling's energy back.
Do your master's bidding. Unleash. You can't run. Lights out. Alright. Gotta play a little bit better here. The big struggle is going to be avoiding them. Whoop. Sorry, I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna focus. I really don't want to take Bond of Life here for the next chamber. No. Oh. We already 3-starred this chamber, by the way. If anyone, just in case anyone just joined in the stream, I'm just clearing this slowly so that I can try to make sure I have health for the next chamber. Oh, frick, you bot wipe.
Solidify.
Unleash. Do your master's bidding. You can't run. Banquet must go on.
Order guide.
Zhongli is gonna help me deal with this baloney.
Lights out. You can't run.
Gather.
By ordinance divine. Obey. Judgment. Banquet must go on.
I will have
Again, hopefully kill one of you. Good.
solidify.
Alright, now it's time to make sure we get energy. Freaking Bond of Life, man. Like, stupid tiny little Bond of Life that is on... that is on Zhongli is drained him to half health. Same thing with Shen, huh?
Nice and spicy. Yeah. Apologies. Judgment. Yeah.
Annoying. I think it'll be fine. We only had a tiny Bond of Life there, so it wasn't draining that much health. The more Bond you have, the more it drains. But yeah, the first side of this Abyss is very much you're meant to bring a healer, not bring a shielder. Arlecchino's weapon is 40% damage plus 18% Bond of Life. Really? Did they nerf it? No, that's not a nerf, is it? Because... well, no. Did they just change it or something? No, there's not a beta update. Is that a rumor currently going around that they're going to change the weapon? I think what that would actually mean, by the way, because there was a thing earlier this week about Arlecchino. I don't see anything on the subreddit. Okay.
But there was a thing a couple days ago about her Bond of Life drain per normal attack being changed to 4%, which basically just changes how many normal attacks she can do, how long she stays on field. It's a potential meaningful damage upgrade, or like an upgrade in how much she can potentially heal per rotation. It's a buff, lowering how much her Bond of Life drains. But that means they might have made her signature weapon. If they made her signature weapon give less Bond of Life, that's just because they wanted to make sure it gives you the same amount of normal. Because before, she drained 5.5% Bond of Life per normal attack, and her weapon gave 25% Bond of Life, which means it gives you 4 normal attacks, right? Changing it to 18% with the new Bond of Life, which is supposedly in code. It hasn't been reflected in the text of the kit yet. This is why it's marked as like a sus or questionable leak on the subreddit, is 4% Bond of Life, which would convert to a little bit over 4 attacks. So again, like the same. So they're changing the Bond of Life on her weapon, but functionally that doesn't really change that much for her weapon. And if they buffed the damage, the damage percent her weapon gives, that's actually, I'd say overall that's a net improvement to her weapon. It's actually a buff to her weapon, not a nerf, is what I would describe that as. Because the Bond of Life, this is on the assumption that her Bond of Life drain is getting changed from 5.5% to the 4%. Calm down, chicken. Really? One nice thing about usually taking Pyro against this thing is usually... Come on, give me a path. Give me a path. There we go. Okay. I'll make sure Raiden has energy. Not that it'll be fine if she's at least close. Yep. Okay. There we go. Shoot that chicken. Planning on 6ing Zhongli so he can use the new 4-star spear. No. The weapon change got removed from the subreddit. I think, okay. I still think it lines up. I think reducing the Bond of Life on her weapon, in accordance to that other potential change that was in the code of her Bond of Life drain being changed, lines up. It functionally makes it so that, because her weapon got indirectly buffed by nature of the drain change, anyways. So all they're doing is rebalancing a little bit so that the value the Bond of Life gives is basically the same, but then now the damage buff is actually just slightly higher, which actually improves its front-loaded damage performance meaningfully, and that also further increases the relevance of like doing things like I'm thinking of, which is cutting off Arlecchino's rotation early, or swapping out to her mid-rotation in order, like this melt team, by the way, but I'm using with Zhongli. The first conception of this team when I was thinking back last year when Shenhe was getting her first rerun. How was last year Shenhe's first rerun? When Shenhe was getting her first rerun, I was like, okay, how the heck do I use the niche cryo buffer on Polearms Only? Well, to buff Rosaria, of course, right? But then like, okay, I can do Rosaria and Shenhe, but who do I use else than that? In hindsight, Zhongli was the obvious case. I just didn't consider that originally because Zhongli solo Pyro was kind of pain. But it turns out that's a deal-withable problem, especially with 2 FAFs on the team. And it turns out that's very good. Like, this is a very good team. The original conception of this team was actually using Hu Tao instead of Zhongli to do the Pyro application for Rosaria to trigger melt, right? And that ended up not working out because of the fact that Shenhe and Rosaria both really, really, really want you to use multiple skills per rotation. So Zhongli being an off-field is the only one that really enabled dynamic like freedom of being able to switch between them, because Hu Tao wants to stay on field for like 10 seconds, right? And in that time frame that she's on field is when I would want to normally use Shenhe and Rosaria's skills again.
So I'm losing a lot of potential damage performance out of them, out of the buff from Shenhe by not refreshing her buff with her skill, losing energy, so increasing energy needs on both Rosaria and Shenhe substantially, on top of losing the damage, and it's just like, oh, like, it just doesn't work. Like it's not the same team if I put Hu Tao in this team, and it requires changing the builds way too much to even get it to function, and it's not even, it's, ugh. Like if Shenhe feels comfortable on 200% ER, with 2 skills per rotation in this team right now, how much ER do you think she needs with Hu Tao when she only uses 1 skill per rotation? Oof. So Arlecchino though does allow swapping out. Arlecchino keeps her bond of life, which is what her infusion is based on. She keeps her bond of life when she switches off field. So that means you can switch off of Arlecchino, use Shenhe's and Rosaria's skill again, switch back to Arlecchino, continue applying Pyro while on field. I think it's going to give me, and like one big problem this team has is, the biggest problem this team has is reliance on Zhongli, and Zhongli being a very viable teammate for a lot of teams, surprise, on Polearms Only, just as she is in Mini in general. But especially on Polearms Only, Zhongli is a very important character, and she can be the difference maker between a team performing really well or like, or just okay in comparison. Like for Chevreuse, like Zhongli makes a very big difference for Chevreuse, but I'm not using Zhongli with the Chevreuse team as second side right now. Arlecchino could enable me to use Zhongli in the Chevreuse team while Arlecchino is being used here by nature of her being free to be flexed out, swapped out. You don't have to spend 10 seconds straight on Arlecchino on field, and that makes her, in my mind, a lot more versatile. In my thinking and experience. And I see frickin' none of the main big theory crafters are even mentioning that as a thing for her, by the way. And it really annoys me. Okay, kill you with this. Maybe should use that to stun these boys, but I probably need to group these guys some way in particular, by the way, but oh well. Yeah, there's why you want to self-group them and why I should have used Zhongli. There we go. Okay, wasn't that bad. Alright, first we're gonna just try this. I think you're supposed to target... Oh, frick. Does anyone know which one you're supposed to target? I think the bow guy, right? Yeah, there's the shield they get. So the question is, how annoying is the shield? These dudes pack a wallop. Ow, ow. They also got through the shield. Ah, why am I draining health? I did not realize there was a health drain mechanic on these bells. Zhongli has 200 HP. This is not going well. Yeah, yeah, the shield is a problem. I'm just like not dealing damage to them too often. Yep, okay. Well, solution to that is one of two things. Either... I think this, to be clear, this chamber is very clearable. This is not like a, oh god, I'm not going to be able to clear this. It's just, I'm probably going to have to do a different team for this chamber specifically. Which is fine. I'm going to try it here for a second, just without using Zhongli's shield. Without using Zhongli's shield, and see how that goes.
Boats are made for transferring commodities back.
About Zhongli on this side, but didn't put up the shield for this part? Yes. That's the plan.
So it is where many things come.
Solidify.
Do your master's bidding. Get judgment. Shiver.
Order guide.
We should have saved that, but whatever.
Manifest.
Stabilize.
Didn't get the particles. Well, I didn't get those particles either. Oh my god, misplace. Misplace out the wazoo.
Solidify.
Can my shield expire? I don't want them to get a shield.
I will
Whatever.
have order.
Manifest. Do your
There we
master's
go.
bidding. You're toast. Nice and slick. Judgment. Punishment.
Why did you get a shield? Crystallize? freaking crystallize, man. Zhongli's skill created a crystallized core that I picked up because like okay. Maybe do Burgeon with Toma and put Zhongli in second half. Yes, that would be my general thinking.
So you know your stuff, huh?
Oh my god. I'm probably gonna use, I wonder. The problem with the Burgeon and or Hyperbloom variations is they're, and this is unintuitive, not Burgeon, but for the Hyperbloom on Polearms Only, it's better in AoE because of you get much more value out of Candace's Hydra and Yao's Dendra application in AoE situations than you do in single target. It's basically a bad Hyperbloom team in single target, although it's better now with Yayo C6, and it's a very competent Hyperbloom team in AoE, which is not the case for most Hyperbloom teams. It's a very weird Hyperbloom team. But the nature of, if I put Raiden in the team, notably, I could do full Burgeon Toma. The problem with Burgeon Toma is you need a lot of ear. And it means I'm like the Burgeon damage I can get is heavily limited. And also, if I'm doing Burgeon Toma, Toma's a shielder. You see the problem? And our problem is having a shielder right now. So, this situation is one that I don't think Burgeon actually makes sense. We'd have to do Hyperbloom, which would mean putting Raiden in the team, which means putting most likely either Sino on the Chevreuse side, and just either not using Sino or speccing into Sino. It'll probably be fine actually to use Sino against the Wither Bucket, the mechanical cube. Because like Zhongli plus Chevreuse will be enough on their own right. Okay. Let's see. We'll see. Let's try this again though.
Obey by ordinance divine. Eat this. Boba, get them. You can't run. Shiver. Manifest. Judgment.
Really? Is Zhongli's interesting? Zhongli's burst there seems to be the hello. Zhongli's burst there seems to be the difference maker between. Oh, my internet is dying. Oh, good. Oh, is it back? I think my internet's back now. Okay. Internet seems to be back. That's good. Okay. I'm glad to have an abyss that requires a little bit of problem solving on Polearms Only again. The last like 6 months or so, not more than 6 months honestly, have been very easy for Polearms Only. I'm being honest. Why did you take no damage? Okay, you know what? Why? Okay. You know, why? Internet. Internet. I love the state of the United States internet. Like I don't have an option to get better internet, guys. That's the incredible thing. I have a business need to get better internet, better internet, and I do not have an option to get better internet. That's how fucked sorry for not censoring. That's how fucked the state of internet is in the United States. And I live in a development with probably several thousand people. Like, it's not like there's not a business incentive for internet providers to offer internet here. It's just they all secretly agree with each other not to, like,
to only serve X area or X area. They just all divvy up. So dumb. I'm gonna lower the bit rate by a lot, which means the stream quality might drop a little bit, but I'm just going to operate on the assumption that it's better to see something going on rather than nothing.
Solidify.
Unleash by ordinance divine.
Nice swap. Didn't want to attack that, but whatever. Didn't want to attack that, but whatever.
This is order. Stabilize.
Obey.
Why? I was able to get this freaking the first rotation. There's some water. Water. I want to see one like competent attempt without Zhongli using his shield, without having crystallize. And then I will just probably try a different team. Although I might take this team to the second or the third chamber. Sorry. I really did not get that. The target there.
Stabilize.
Unleash.
Can I please? Thank you.
Gather.
By ordinance divine.
Does anyone know where you're supposed to position for the Whopper flowers, by the way? I'm just gonna assume you... Normally, what is it normally? It's normally like...
We'll have order.
Go to the opposite side of the abyss. Does it look away from them or look towards them? I don't know. It kind of isn't even a problem, so maybe I shouldn't bother. Okay, okay. I need Zhongli's pillar to go away, and I need to... Can you F off? I really don't want... I think when they hit me when I have a shield is when they get a shield. Go away! I need the shielding to go away. Good God. Thank you. I almost just...
Obey. Do your master's bidding. Nice and good. Judgment.
Oh God, the damage.
Ship manifest. You can't run. Get them.
No. Yep. Okay. So the damage was there. The damage was there. The living was not. Run to the back of the abyss and look away. That's what I thought. Okay.
Unleash. Cryo incarnate. Judgment. Lights out.
There we go. That was much better.
This is order.
Manifest. You can't run.
Oh, I didn't get any energy out of that because they died too quick. Frick.
Gather.
They spawn so quick this time and stay grouped together well enough. I don't even know if it's relevant to try to take the time to group them. Normally it is, but...
Solidify.
No, but yeah. Oh my God, bro. There we go. I need to get my shield to go away. It's the only downside of Zhongli's shield lasting way too long. Okay, there we go.
Unleash. Do your master's bidding. You can't run. Lights out.
I will have order.
Manifest.
Really need to kill the butthole that's causing the damage on me. Like,
Maybe this
Yeah.
is just
yeah.
dark design.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to take a different team to it. It seems like a bit... I don't know. The damage is there. theoretically, I think you can dash through the... Because I think a lot of the damage I'm taking there is the damage that is in the AoE around the big boy on the ground, like the waves of like rocks that hit you. I'm sure I was taking other damage than that in some of those instances, to be clear, but that damage is the main problem factor, I think, and hard to avoid. And could theoretically be dashed through to avoid it, but it seems a bit rough. I think the solution is just bring the Yao Candace team, Yao Candace Raiden, to it instead. And then we'll do we can still do a Chevreuse team on the second side, I think. But I'm going to try to clear this with Zhongli. I'm just going to shield with Zhongli and get through it like normal, 2-star it. And then... Yeah, and then we'll try to deal with the third chamber, and then we'll come back to this chamber.
This is order.
That's my plan.
Stabilize.
Should you get Kazuha or Arlecchino?
By ordinance divine.
It's a hard comparison to make. Like they're completely different characters. One thing I plan on mentioning in my video where I kind of basically bash the constellations, both
Order guide.
Kazuha's and Neuvillette's constellations.
Solidify.
I plan to basically say that Kazuha has never been more unnecessary, and as time goes on, I recently saw, I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about this, maybe I will eventually, but probably not anytime directly soon. But more than ever, I'd say Fontaine has been the year of like reducing the relevance of any one individual support, because we have so much more of a diversity of options now that it's just like not relevant. Wow, that was some lag. Can I switch my characters? Oh my god, internet. I might not be able to finish this on stream because this is why I haven't been streaming lately, by the way. It's like my internet just doesn't function. Like, what the actual f***? It pisses me off. I literally call and tell them, hey, I need internet for my work. Like, I need internet to make money. I'll pay you like $200 a month, and they'll say, LOL, no, we don't have anything better for you. What the... Anyways, Kazuha's never been more unnecessary. I think Kazuha's a very fun character, and I find it highly unlikely that anyone would ever regret pulling him. Whereas on-fielders, right, Arlecchino is an on-fielder, are ultimately only going to be as useful to you as long as you are still interested in playing them. Oh my god. And that decreases their potential relevance relative to off-field / supportive units, right? Why are you running away, bro?
Do your master's bidding. Obey. You can't run.
I really want you to die.
Gather.
Thank you. The lag is pissing me off. So, like, man, the internet worked fine. It worked fine. For like that's part of the reason I've faffed about in the overworld for a little bit. It's like the internet worked fine for that long. Now it's just like, oh no, you need not having 12 years of latency because for some godforsaken reason Mihoyo's like, yeah, let's tie character switching, the most important mechanic of this game, to a network check. Oh, let's let's lag now. Why? This internet.
Manifest.
This is order. Stabilize.
So anyways, Kazuha.
I don't know. It's weird to even compare the two, right? Kazuha versus Arlecchino. If Arlecchino looks like a lot more fun to you, have teammates. Can I switch my characters? Then, you know, get Arlecchino. Like it's a game. Get who you think's gonna be more fun to you. The thing with Kazuha is he has far more potential for enabling more fun than someone like Arlecchino does, who is only as fun as long as you were interested in having fun specifically with her, most likely. I do think she will be fairly versatile. So if you don't have any pyro, like any of the traditional good pyro carries, don't have a good pyro carry team built yet, she potentially will offer you a strong potential on-fielding option, and she will have a lot of options for crafting a team around her that probably feels pretty good. And I think she's going to feel really good in Overworld too. So it's a question of what your desires are, in my opinion. I can tell you, I've barely used Kazuha the last, like, since Farina came out. Since Farina and like Cloud Retainers come out, I've barely used him. He's still a very good character. You could help a lot for this Abyss, for example. He's very good at dealing AoE damage and buffing damage. It's just, he's never been more unnecessary because of all the other options available. So it depends on the state of your account, right? If you don't have, you know, Bennett built yet, you don't have Farina, you don't have Sucrose built. There's any number of things that, like, if you don't have these characters, you don't own these characters, or don't have them built, you might get more relative value out of Kazuha because of that. I got a ton of value out of Kazuha for a very long time. I still get value out of him as an option, and I've played with him. There's a lot of potential, by the way, that I think people underestimate, is his utility as just like a weird DPS. He has a lot of creativity in like how you can actually build him, but most people don't, just because of the fact that he's so good in so many teams just on his like normal VBA build. Why would you? Generally the reason. Oh frick! I didn't get energy. I wasn't thinking. Frick. Okay, we'll see if that causes a problem. I don't think it will, actually, because the mech, we gotta get through the shield first so we can get energy while it's in this shield phase. Okay, we'll be fine. Skill damage, you. Honestly, I think elemental resistance is better here. Well, skill damage is good for Rosaria, like, quite good, but I think, I genuinely think that elemental resistance is gonna be a lot better against this mighty butthole.
Solidify.
Unleash! By ordinance divine! You can't run! Punishment! Obey! Get them!
I don't think I got any fat procs.
Unleash! Do your master's bidding!
Yeah, I did not get enough fat procs for Zhongli.
You can't run!
I will have order.
That just iframe a little bit, but not have been smart.
Obey! Get them!
Ah, that was just bad on my part. Just bad. Just bad. Keep in mind, you still have to build Kazuha when that's VVEM pieces. I mean, that's true. You don't have to necessarily, though. Like, Kazuha can still give damage bonus with an EM build, not on VV. And that is usually where the interesting creativity with him lies. Especially nowadays with Farina as an option, heck, Cloud Retainer as an option, etc. Notably, a lot of the shenanigans, to be clear, that I've done. Like as far as pyro carries go, by the way, Kazuha was the first pyro DPS I built.
those that come across you
So like that's what I mean by shenanigans that I think a lot of people don't ever even consider Kazuha for. They're more viable than you might expect. Kazuha was my first pyro carry, so yeah, just saying. But that relies on C6 Bennett, of course, and so you may or may not even have access to C6 Bennett, let alone if you activated it. Lag.
Unleash! Cryo incarnate! You can't run! Punishment!
Order guide you.
Alright, bring some bullshit.
Judgment!
Alright,
Do
this.
your master's bidding! Mana! Lights
Solidify. I will have order.
out! Obey! Unleash!
This thing took a heck of a lot of an optimization the first time I beat it on Polearms Only, by the way. The last time this was in Abyss was the hardest that the Abyss has been in 4.0 since for Polearms Only. I think it's going to be a little easier this time around, though. I don't remember what the other side of the Abyss was.
Solidify.
Obey! Do your master's bidding! Lights out!
Order guide you.
Judgment!
There we go. Minute and a half, not bad. Farina is the Archon kit-wise. Like, as far as how she is designed, Farina is the Archon. On a marketing and, like, kit design level. On a lower level, technically, you know. Spoilers, just in case anyone hasn't done it. Pause for like 10 seconds. Farina has technically never been the Archon because she was just acting, right? But
There is no escape. Drop your weapons!
on how they designed the character and presented her to you. Oh god.
Illusion shattered! You asked for it! Stop right there!
I got you covered. Fire it up.
Oh shit. I should have done that a little bit differently.
Check this out.
Final warning! Hands where I can stick!
Supporting fire.
Now you shall perish!
I didn't crit.
Drop your weapons!
Don't get too close.
There is no escape!
Oh boy. I think I scuffed this. Dang it, I scuffed that. I shouldn't have used, if I hadn't used Chevreuse, like, doing her C4 stuff in the first rotation, I am pretty sure I could have used Raiden in the first rotation, and then we would have been fine. Whoops.
Osmanthus wine tastes.
Yeah, Neuvillette is technically not the Archon either. There is no Hydra Archon.
But where are
Other than the
those
one that,
who share?
again, spoilers if you haven't done the 4.0 story, other than the one that died in the story because Neuvillette ate her. If that burst crit, yeah, that too.
By ordinance divine!
I got an 80% crit rate Raiden too. The game just hates me. Oh boy.
Get them! Judgment!
I will have order.
Bring some of their BS.
Do your master's
This.
bidding! You can't run! Punishment! Unleash! Get them! Judgment!
Oh, no. Okay. I was a bit worried they were going to get through the shield there. They're going to get through the shield there. No, no, no. Get off the freaking pillar.
By ordinance divine, obey! You can't run! Shiver!
Order guide.
Yeah, do this.
Unleash! Judgment! Yeah. Nice and spicy! Do your master's bidding! You're toast! You can't run! Punishment!
This is order.
Yeah, that was a couple more seconds we gained there.
Stop right there!
Fire it up.
Do I gain more shield break if I do a low punch versus an owl?
Justice will prevail!
I got you covered. Don't get too close.
Alright. Jesus, terrible. Didn't crit on that burst, by the way. Ow. Ow. Oh god, I'm doing terrible with the normal attack cancels.
Reporting fire.
You asked for it! Stop right!
Oh, what? I forgot about the jumping.
Time to go!
Lag!
Now you
Lag! Why? I swear to god, that was lag. Or that was just me. I might have pressed the wrong button, honestly, in that case. Frick! Okay. I'm gonna try. God dang it, man. Hey.
Obey!
I didn't trigger Fab.
Cryo incarnate!
Did I trigger Fab? Please. Please. I don't think I triggered a single Fab. Oh my god. Bro. Like, ugh. Can you, does it technically count as damage when you hit either of these guys, by the way? Because I'm pretty sure Fab is more likely to trigger
Manifest! Do your
in
master's bidding!
against these enemies because of that. Yeah, see? I just got unlucky. Okay.
Judgment! Shiver! Hit!
Order guide.
Unleash!
Oh boy.
Solidify.
Cryo incarnate! Manifest! You can't run! Lights out!
Gather.
Oh boy. Showing's energy. Let's
This is
try to
order.
stay on field with her a little bit more.
Stabilize.
Obey!
She's the most healthy one anyways, so, you know. Oh, good god. You stop! No Fab. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, I'm gonna have to restart this. I have scuffed this entirely. Actually, I might not have to technically, because if as long as I kill the thing in 2 rotations, I don't think it matters that much. If this is like on the timing of this thing, killing this thing, I mean. But I have horribly misplayed this one.
Manifest! You can't run! Shiver!
Gather.
Shift! Nice and spicy!
That was terrible. We're gonna practice
on this one, even if this one is a lot less likely to actually get there. Oh my god, can I do my cancels better? What? Oh my god, you lost your shield, bro. Bro, can you not lose your shield in 2 seconds? I apparently should use my burst at the start. Oh god. Can who tell ever crit either? Okay, I'm just misplaying, I think, all my things. Wow, look, she crit for one. Raiden should... Absolutely, yeah, okay. So I can tell you one thing. Hybrid Raiden does not make sense in this team without Staff of Scarlet's Hands. Like, I literally... Like, this is not surprising in hindsight. Like, I've done calcs myself when I made my Hybrid Raiden video to see what the difference between, like, the event Polearm and Staff of Scarlet's Hands is. And the answer is a lot. Like, Raiden hitting 125k there this is a C3 Raiden, right? The hybrid build just does not make sense with C3. Sorry, without Staff of Scarlet's Hands. So... Raiden should really be on a traditional build there. That is kind of hurting me a bit. Not that I can't clear it in this situation regardless. I think it comes down to more misplays than that. I never... No, you pushed me into the... I didn't funnel any energy to Zhongli. Again. Stop. That was just bad. That was just bad. What do you think? What weapon do you think the Pyro Archon will have? Maybe sword or bow? Obviously Polearm. Who do you think you're asking? Is that greedy? Yes. But hey. I've already gotten 5 Pyro Polearms. Is it so much to ask for one more? Why did I do that? I need to do that there.
Stabilize.
Cryo incarnate. Obey.
Switch my character. What? We haven't had a bow or a Claymore Archon though, right? So if I were to bet, she's gonna be Claymore. Why? Because I don't like the idea of a God of War that uses a bow. I don't know. Not that I like... Because they're supposed to be like the War Nate, aren't they? Right? I think that's what it's like hinted at. Or is that just me making a weird assumption because it's the Nation of Fire or something? You dudes just die. No one likes you. This is terrible again. Die. Okay, there we go. Terrible again. So, yeah, I don't know. Catalyst doesn't make sense. It's going to be Pyro Claymore or Pyro Bow. Venti has a bow. Oh, I forgot. Then Claymore. Definitely Claymore. I forget. Sorry, I forgot that Venti's an Archon because there's a different Anemo Archon rerunning in 12 days. Oops. Look, Venti doesn't even want to act like an Archon. Why give him the treatment of one? Oh my god, can I cancel properly? dead.
There is no escape. Justice will prevail. Final warning.
I can't switch my characters!
Shall perish.
I didn't mean to do that. Well, I mean, oh, I scuffed this the heckin' high beyond again. I cannot. Okay, I should genuinely just be jump canceling or something because I apparently just cannot. Yeah, Raiden being on her hybrid build without the correct weapon for it is real bad. Is real bad. I think I would have potentially. Yeah, I am pretty confident I would have first tried. Oh yeah, Raiden doesn't have 80% crit rate because she's not on the Staff of Scarlet Sand. She only has like 68% crit rate. That explains the lack of crits. Yeah, Raiden being on the wrong weapon for her hybrid build is a bit oof. Yeah, I should have just put her on catch, honestly, instead. Catch would have required swapping more artifacts, right? And just put her on a traditional build, and I'm pretty sure I would have cleared it. This is why I wanted an additional copy of Staff of Scarlet Sands, by the way. Is so I could have avoided this issue. But yeah, I am. My bet is the Pyro Archons, Pyro Claymore, and then the because we don't have enough of those, and then swear to God if she's an on-fielder. I don't think she will be. I do not think she will be, but we'll see. Yeah, so yeah, Pyro Archon is gonna be on is gonna be a Pyro Claymore, and then Cryo Catalyst for what's her bucket?
Solidify.
Unleash. Cryo incarnate. Nice spike down. Shiver. Manifest. Judgment.
Damn. Oh my God, the leg.
By ordinance divine. You can't run. Lights out. You're toast.
I didn't get the initial cast damage out. That's really annoying. I didn't get any Vap Rocks.
Order guide.
Oh my God. Everything's gone wrong.
At least no more.
Yep. I blame lag for that one. This is back to what Abyss normally feels like. Polearms Only. Well, not normally. I mean, it really just depends on the Abyss cycle at this point. Again, if I had been slightly smarter... Oops. If I had been slightly smarter for the second side for her build, I would have done things differently. But I wanted to test the Battle Pass weapon on Raiden anyways. So it's fine. You don't have to have one of my own feeling. Okay. I'm talking. Alright. Focus. I want to get a minute and a half-ish clear. I'm going to shut up for a second. I'm just going to shut up. I'm going to clear this because I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. And I have not finished Chamber 2 either. So let's just shut up.
Stabilize.
Cryo incarnate. Obey.
Good.
You can't run. Shiver.
Order guide.
Yep.
Manifest. Judgment.
Gather.
Do your master's bidding. Fire. You can't run. Punishment. Yeah. Obey. Judgment. Get them.
This is order.
divine.
Stop.
It's like overtime today.
I don't have a shield up. Yeah. Whoops. Not talking didn't work. Not talking didn't work. How do I deal with that? Which region am I looking forward to now? Understand. Which, I don't know. Neither particularly over the other.
Manifest.
They both are
Cryo-incarnate.
equally interesting to me. I don't know. I can see them doing a more interesting. I'm talking. A more interesting gimmick with Natlan. So I guess Natlan. I don't know. Snezhnaya has been alluded to as like snowy area. We already have a snowy area in the game that they did exceedingly well. So it's not to say they can't do Snezhnaya exceedingly well. I just think we already have said good snow area. And I'd like to see them, you know, do their take on a Zelda Dead Mountain style situation. Can I not have 900 mils? Internet! I can't switch my characters.
Things are getting interesting.
Stabilize.
By ordinance divine. Mana.
Why? Rosaria targeted the stupid butthole swirling around in the outside and then didn't connect on her skill. She didn't get energy. Because, of course, why would she connect on her skill to do that swirling around at Mach 10? And why the would the game even auto-target it?
Unleash. Do your master's bidding.
This is order.
Obey.
Let me switch my characters. Oh my god. Zhongli. No energy.
Solidify.
By ordinance divine.
I have never before had this many energy issues with Zhongli in this team. Did I F my Zhongli build? I never even checked my Zhongli build in hindsight. I don't know if I F my Zhongli build or something, or it's just an effective misplays. Maybe both. Didn't get a fat drop. Brilliant. See, this is why I want R5 Fab. On like my main units where it's relevant for. I definitely should have. I have an R3 Fab that I should have swapped to Shenhe in particular, but I didn't.
Unleash. You can't run.
Can I switch my characters? Internet! F off, Internet! I'm so pissed off. I don't want to make a freaking edited video for like every new Abyss cycle in Polearms Only. That's why I'd rather like just stream it, because it just feels like better streaming content in my opinion. But then the game is doing bullshit, like, or not the game. My internet just does bullshit like this constantly now. It just like. To be clear, I blame Mihoyo still more for this issue. Because, like, why in the ever-living is switching your characters? The most important mechanic in this game is tied to a server check. Like, just... if anyone at Mihoyo happens to be watching this for some godforsaken reason, which I highly, highly doubt, anyone at Mihoyo that was in any part responsible, or if you're connected to anyone in Mihoyo responsible for that decision, go yourself.
Every journey has its
You know people play your game to have fun, right? Not to deal with internet issues. So how about you don't implement core game mechanics to be tied to internet checks? Just for the sake of because
You're being buttholes and trying to make it as pain in the butt as possible for people to make local installations of your game run. It didn't even work. People still have local installations of Genshin that, you know, there's private servers where the leaks come from. Let me tell you, they probably don't have an issue with switching.
Stabilize.
Number one thing that should change about Genshin is that. Not 3 wishes.
Get stuck. Lights out.
Order guide.
And now I'm getting too pissed off at external things, and I'm not even focusing on the combat, by the way, which is obviously not good.
My final.
Bro, trigger 5. Something. You know we're at a bad point. Let me just restart. You know we're at a not great point when I'm restarting based on Fab not triggering. At this point, I should just reset the teams, try to deal with Chamber 2.
Solidify.
Manifest by ordinance divine. Get judgment. Punishment.
I will have order.
Obey. You can't run.
Stabilize.
Okay. Well, I scuffed that. I scuffed that. What's my favorite region? Chasm. Or Inazuma. If you're forcing me to pick a regionally. Also, but it's not... I can't even reset here because of the internet. Like, do you guys see when I popped up that window? You might not have because my internet might be screwing the stream. I haven't gotten that many... Well, no, I am getting warnings from the stream now. What the It's fucking internet. I hate it so freaking much, man. How can I not, like, why? I could tell them I want to pay $1,000 a month and they'd say, LOL, no, we'd have nothing for you. I'm not kidding.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Anyways, wouldn't just using Hyperloom be easier? Sylveon Hyperloom is not better in single target than this team. That's the main problem. That's why I wanted to clear it with this team, because this team has a lot better single target damage. Although I haven't, to be clear, I haven't tested that much against a boss, so maybe it's fine now. And actually with Hybrid Raiden with C3, if I do Hybrid Raiden Hyperbloom instead of full Hyperbloom, bro, the internet. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this in the stream. The internet just has decided to say no. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, do you see, if you've been paying attention to the ping, how often it's been jumping to 999 milliseconds? Like, what the actual I have no idea what the people who are saying in Cyrillic.
Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's
this is a team that requires switching my characters constantly and like using and trying to switch to characters like Zhongli to make sure I get fab particles on them. But anyways, Inazuma, the Chasm came out during the Inazuma patches, and Inazuma is my favorite region. And I do like Enkanomiya, but not as much as like Dragonspine or Chasm or anything. So yeah, I don't think it's a quinky dink. That their best, the areas that I think were the best designed as far as overworld exploration goes, all came out in the same year. And then people are whiny babies, and like as time goes on, they just accede to whiny babies, and have made the exploration, I think, worse overall. So yeah, Fontaine, to be clear, was a notable improvement. Like, to give them some credit, I think Fontaine is a notable improvement over can just never trigger Fab. Notable improvement over Sumeru. Sumeru is arse. I thought I had just grown a distaste for like Genshin exploration in general because of like playing the game too much for content. And then I actually started to like exploration again after Fontaine came out. And I was like, oh no, it's just Sumeru that's garbage.
Unleash! Do your master's bidding! You're stuck, huh? Maybe this is
Yeah,
just
I just got greedy there. We have a video about Ito. I don't really have anything to say about Ito. The most interesting thing you can probably do with Ito right now is probably doing plunge Ito, because I've been informed by Binge that plunging on Ito does count towards his like stacks, his hits, his combo, or whatever it is. I think combo is the correct word there. So, you know, plunging counting towards combo means it's good to do plunging on him, actually. So, yeah, that's interesting. Which means Cloud Retainer, just in case anyone is not aware.
Solidify.
obey! By ordinance divine! Nice and spicy! You can't run!
But yeah, as far as Ito goes, I don't know. I don't really have any ideas.
I will have order.
And I don't have the pieces at okay. I don't know. Like at this point, my like the internet is really killing my ability to play here right now, guys. I have now lost the desire to clear this on stream just because my internet has decided to me. So anyway, the Polearms Only is AR60 now. I don't. We got nothing for being AR60. I will. I think for this Abyss, I don't plan to make a dedicated video on this Abyss. I think about on Polearms Only. I don't think it's actually that hard of Abyss, even though it seems like I was having a lot of difficulty there. I don't think I can't even view the thing. I wanted to view the enemies. I don't think the last chamber there is actually that difficult. Just the internet on top of my own mental state related to the internet. It was just I was obviously just playing way worse there than I was the first. Like I was able to the first 2 attempts at that chamber, right, get very close to clearing, close enough that it was like, oh, just issues with things like Raiden not critting, which is largely because like Raiden was on the wrong build. Realistically, so yeah, this is a good example, by the way, of just how much worse Cyber Raiden is with when you don't use Staff of Scarlet Sands. Like you really want Staff of Scarlet Sands for Cyber Raiden. It's a very big difference maker. But I could have put Raiden on a more normal build, and I could tweak different things around there, even past that potentially. Honestly, in this case, Fav on Zhongli might be the difference maker. And like Zhongli will lose a lot of damage, to be clear, but that might have actually like improved the consistency there too. There's a number of like minor decisions as far as builds go that could have made things easier there in their chamber. It's close enough that I don't think it's going to be that hard. Chevreuse should realistically also be on like a supportive, just buff attack more build rather than her DPS build when I'm using Hu Tao and Raiden together, right? And blah blah blah. So second chamber, the plan would be using hybrid Raiden, so with Staff of Scarlet Sands, not with this weapon, with Yao Yao and Candace doing their thing, and I think that will be honestly fine. As far as the 4th slot, probably just Rosaria, but not on Staff of Scarlet Sands. Probably Rosaria either on Fav or Jade Wing Spear or the catch. Honestly, it doesn't even matter. Just something that she can get some off-field damage in and provide a little bit of value to the team through like freezing and whatever. She also can create a little bit more extra Dendra cores by nature of the hyperfridge reaction shenanigans. And then second side would leave me, so we'd have Raiden. The only problem would be Raiden would be in the Hyper Bloom team. And then we'd have a Chevreuse team probably still be the best option realistically for the second side. And probably using Sino, actually, I would think. Yeah. Yeah, probably Sino. Sino, Zhongli, Chevreuse, Toma, or Hu Tao. Actually, now that I think about it, so the sad state of Sino is that even though I have C2 Sino, I'm I don't know. I'll try it. I'll try it. I think I will try Sino before doing Hu Tao. So I'll try Sino, Chevreuse, Hu Tao, Toma. Or sorry, not Hu Tao. Zhongli. Good lord. And then if that doesn't work, I'm probably gonna do Sino, Sino, Zhongli, Chevreuse, Hu Tao. But Sino is just there to enable Chevreuse's passive. Which actually I could just use Xiao for instead, for VV. But I think, no, Sino would be slightly better because VV would be a little bit more annoying to get. So Sino would be there. Like, I think that might be better. I think doing Hu Tao, Chevreuse, Zhongli, and then Sino is there just to enable the passive of Chevreuse might be better than just doing Sino DPS himself. Oof. But we'll see. I think what I will do is I will try to upload that as an unlisted video. I'll probably just record it, and then record when I cleared it, or record any interesting aspects to it, and then I will upload it and link it as an unlisted video. And I'm actually going to jot down a note so I don't forget to do that. Upload unlisted 36-star clear. Like, it's just something I don't think it's got enough problems that are interesting enough to make a dedicated edited video about this. So if anyone's interested in seeing a 36-star for this, should be in the description of the video soon. Hopefully TM. Hopefully within the next couple days. My intention is to try to, because my internet's screaming, I'm going to take a break from Genshin for today. Not for the day, for a few hours. Might record my weapons only video that is hopefully going to be up this weekend, and then I'll record this too. And this would just be like, I'm not going to try to commentate or anything, so it's going to be a lot easier to record. I'm just going to record it, snip it to when it cleared it, and then upload it as an unlisted video for those that want to see it. Is kind of my current thinking. But anyways. How many 36 stars do you have on this account? If you're talking about a streak, so I've been able to 36. I said in the beginning of the stream, I've been able to 36 star every single new enemy cycle. I didn't keep up a streak though, because it's like a lot of cycles did a lot of optimization and it wasn't worth it. I'll just abandon that. I didn't keep up a streak until relatively recently. So I don't know the total number. I haven't kept track of the total number. I don't even think it shows. I don't even think this shows the first time we 36 starred on Polearms Only anymore. But the only enemy cycle that prevented me from 36 starring since I first started 36 starring, which was over a year ago when we first got Yao Yao, was the Inquisitive Baptist cycle. And if that dude comes back in Abyss, which I think he is currently rumored to be in the 4.6, or not rumored, I think he is like confirmed basically, unless it gets changed to be in the 4.6 Abyss. So I will get my revenge. I am going to be very stubborn. That I will probably make a dedicated edited video on, getting my revenge against the frickin' Baptist. Yeah, so as far as streak goes though, and I'm gonna try to keep the streak. Like, this is not a hard enough Abyss for me to try to end the streak, right? The Inquisitive Baptist Abyss might be. We'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 is the current streak, and it will be 14 with this cycle, and I don't think there's anything that will change in the next couple resets here, so, you know, yeah. I don't think it will be that hard. Yeah. I don't know. Nothing's really changed for Polearms Only basically being AR60, but figured it was appropriate to do a live stream for it. And yeah, still having fun with Polearms Only. That's kind of all there is to it. So,
yeah, I don't know. Any other questions, or are people just gonna chat in Cyrillic? And I can't. This is the most not English chat I've had, in, I think, ever. It's amusing to me. I like it. It's funny. It's just like all the words. I really like this Cyrillic language, by the way. It's so pretty. What is the I don't know what the word you use. I'm derping. I don't know. The word you use for like what letters are in an abstracted level. It's not alphabet. But anywho's. Yep. Thanks for coming. I think that's all I got. Wait. Actually, no. We're gonna end the stream on something very exciting, which is I don't know why I looked at that. But game doesn't even want to let me open my freaking artifacts. We're gonna end the stream on something very, very exciting. We're gonna farm one more thing of artifacts. Because I have 40 resin. So now's your time to ask questions, or someone can translate your questions. Characters, question mark? I have all Polearm characters. And they're all built. Even Mika. Well, okay, Mika might have had his artifacts swapped around. Yeah, okay, sorry. He has the ability to be built. Mika is the only character that will never get his final ascension, though. I will tell you that. He does not deserve it. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Go here. If you can't get better internet where you live, maybe you can move to where there's a better internet. If only it were that easy, Kengoshi. I can tell you one thing. The only way I'm able to justify the amount of time I spend on making Genshin content is because of the fact that I live with my brother. And he is offering me a very cheap rent. Much, much cheaper than it would be if I lived on my own. I would not be making enough money right now to live on my own, is kind of all it comes down to. And yeah, so would love to. But it's not necessarily as simple as yeah, I can move and everything's the same. All I have to do is go through the effort of moving. No, it would cost me probably $1,500 more a month to live on my own. When you factor in not just like higher rent cost or higher mortgage cost, but also just the higher upkeep cost of things I don't currently have to. I didn't need another onset pyro goblet of all things. What? To be okay, all right. Exception. I don't mind having another pyro goblet in general, because there's a lot of pyro polearms Mario keeps releasing. So, you know, it's not bad to have more pyro goblets, but also this is the one artifact I absolutely did not need on this set. I absolutely thought I was going to roll crit rate too. Okay. It's going to stay level 4 probably forever, but hey, I don't know. It could roll 30 crit damage, right? So, you know, I mean, actually, okay. We'll take it to level... No, well, okay, it's going to use one bottle. It's fine. I wanted to roll HP or a flat attack so I could throw it in the garbage. What are my current pyro goblets? To know if I ever need to keep this or not. Where is pyro? There it is. I've got this onset one for Hotel. I've got this one. I've got that one. That's relatable. Okay, I'm gonna keep this for now. It might be. It like has to roll entirely into crit and attack, I think, for it to be relevant enough compared to like this, which is a 25 plus ER. This is a SAD plus HP, and then this could be, you know, 20 plus 2 attack percent or 3 attack percent, depending on how high or low rolls the crit are. But anyways, UID Showtime. Welcome to Bye Bosses. Thanks for joining.
Did you make the mistake by playing Fords in a 2-element team? Yep, I did that too. I didn't think about that. That didn't affect that much, to be clear. Like, the problem there was, like, I don't have, like, any, I have an EM goblet and an EM timepiece on Raiden in the Chevreuse team. Like, it was doing some amount of damage, but, like, losing the 150 EM there was not necessarily the difference maker, versus just the issue of the build itself not making sense when you're not converting EM to attack, essentially. You can do some variation of Hybrid Raiden, to be clear, without doing Staff of Scarlet Sands, but in my opinion, variations of Hybrid Raiden that are not with Staff of Scarlet Sands are not really Hybrid Raiden. They're functionally just Quick Bloom, which Quick Bloom is usually like you have something like 200 to 300 at most with substats EM, or 300 like with this. Like if I did EM timepiece and this weapon, and then swap to like an Electro or attack goblet, right? That would be a Quick Bloom Raiden, or in this case, you know, just an slight overload. I don't know. It wouldn't even make sense actually with an overload team. So there's more layers than just the passive not working. But yes, the passive was not working. So there's that too. It would have been like the damage we saw from Raiden wouldn't have really changed, or no, it literally wouldn't have changed in the numbers that I saw. The 125k I got from a burst. The EM didn't affect that at all in that team. And it wouldn't have affected that in a Hyper Bloom team even. It only affects her Hyper Bloom damage or her transformative reaction damage. And then it would slightly affect it in a Hyper Bloom team, because in a Hyper Bloom variation it would affect or aggravates a bit. So anyways, this is probably the second best option for a Hybrid Raiden that isn't Engulfing Lightning, at least. Like Engulfing Lightning is realistically the second best option for Hybrid Raiden, because you could technically build a full EM and just ignore ER, instead of Staff of Scarlet Sands wanting you to have a bunch of ER and substats still. But you're still not like, it still doesn't make sense to do that, wherein like it can actually make sense to do EM main stat on Staff of Scarlet Sands because of how much you're double dipping at the value of EM specifically. Engulfing Lightning doesn't give you any additional value from EM like this does. So, anywho's, yeah, Hybrid Raiden on many levels did not work with this weapon, especially for overload. So, yeah, I didn't think that through that clearly. I just kind of threw it on there passingly. I threw it on there just by swapping Raiden and Rosaria's weapon, right? I definitely should have swapped to the catch and then swapped to like a traditional build on Raiden instead. Oh well. Oh well. All right. Nothing else from chat. I think that's the stream. I got no energy left, anyways. I will. If I don't, if the video, if someone's watching this VOD, or you know, you just remember if you're watching live right now, and I don't have a 36-star clear linked in the description or in the pinned comment of this VOD, feel free to annoy me on Discord and remind me, because it probably just means I got distracted and I didn't either edit it together and throw it up yet or anything, or I didn't do it, or I didn't clear it. But my intention right now is to finish clearing the abyss off camera, and then yeah, and then I'll upload it. So hopefully even today or tonight potentially, depending on where you exist. But that's all I got. We are 60 now on Polearms Only, and that means basically nothing, because yep, it takes 2 years to get there, and Mihoyo's like, yes, you get garbage for it. Thank you for playing this game for 2 years. Have nothing as a reward. Thanks, Mihoyo. I love you. You're great. That was sarcasm, just in case it wasn't obvious. But if it was to Mihoyo, 100% not sarcasm. You're the greatest. You don't make any mistakes.